You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in the palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win every way. You showed me how to spread my wings.
Hello, welcome to Hope Conference 2020, day 2. I can't believe it's already day 2. It's so exciting. We're glad you're here. We hope that you are here because we had technical difficulties last night, and we hope everything is going right tonight. I just want to say thank you for hanging in there with us with technical difficulties and wanting to be with us. If you will invite your friends to come and join us so that they can be blessed by our speakers tonight too. I want to introduce my sweet co-host, Christy Bridges and Connie Myers. You will learn more about these two little hot messes as we go on through the night. They are amazing people. And, you know, I am excited. I'm just excited that it's like time for Hope to Hope again. And Christy, I'm going to ask you to introduce our first speaker because she's actually your friend.
She is. Her name is Erin Garcia, and she is a neuroperformance coach that I met because I had a friend who I wanted to work with. We did writing workshops, and every idea that I came up with, my friend was also coming up with, like right at the same time. We just flowed, and I thought, your coach must be like my coach. She happened to be one of Erin's clients. And so Erin is a neuroperformance coach that helps people get past the little hurts that trigger us to act in certain ways. And she also is the gorgeous hostess for the monthly group in Tulsa that meets called Shift 88, where we make mind shifts. And she has written a book called The Real Skinny Behind My Anorexia. And so that is Erin Garcia. She has a great story. Hey, Erin.
Hey, girls. How are you?
Welcome. It's nice to meet you, by the way. I don't have very many people come on that I don't know. I think I know everyone.
Nice to meet you. Yes. Thank you for having me tonight.
Well, you're
Christy,
so welcome.
Christy looks great as always. She's that fiery redhead that we all want to be friends with, right?
That's right. That is so right. Well, Christy, do you want to do the honors, or do you want me to ask the question we ask every guest?
I would love to do the honors. So, Erin, we ask our guests a very simple question that sometimes is not such a simple answer, but in what area of your life were you broken open, and how did you find hope? How did your life change because of that?
Finding hope?
Yeah.
Oh, girl, I think that hope has visited me and followed me and kept me all these years. I was raised in Nebraska. I call it the typical dysfunctional home in Nebraska, right, in suburbia. And there was just a lot going on in our families at that time. My dad was military coming back from Korea, the Korean War. And, you know, there were a lot of challenges and they had, my mom was bipolar, but they called it manic depressive back then. So you've got a military gentleman married to a bipolar, and, you know, I needed hope then, you know, right? So I'm the spunky younger sister that comes in kind of as a sponge, really, and wanting to, I was the sensitive one, and I was the one that was picking up the family dynamic. And early in my life, I sought a spiritual root to give me the hope that I needed to take us through. And really my coping mechanism, though later became an eating disorder, still I had that strong spiritual root that began my journey with the hope. And the hope, and you know, I call it a person, and it is my Heavenly Father, but He gives us hope for certain.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you sought this on your own because you just needed that anchor. But you had an eating disorder. I know we just mentioned your book. Would you like to tell us how you ended up where you are today, the happy person that doesn't hold yourself back? You're just
that eat carbs and enjoys life. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's a short version, and you know, I laughed because today I knew I was going to be on this show, and I kind of had a haircut that went a little awry. So
I think it's great.
You know how we have the extra short hair. So anyway, that was funny. I'm looking at this thinking, not a good day to have a bad hair day, right? Oh, well. So, but you know, I'm an over-recovered anorexic now. I call myself an over-recovered because the very gentleman, which is my sweet husband of 45 years, the very man that saved my life, because he was a cook. Now think about that. He's the real hero of the story, right? So he was the cook that saved my life. And I'm serious about that because I was probably headed to the next 10-pound plunge easily. It was not a good place. You can have your spiritual walk, but in the emotional area, you know, you have needs there. So there's a long story on the eating disorder, but I know that when I met him, there was a shift in my life, and God had met that need by bringing me someone that could cook. I call him my second savior, not so perfect. And he still cooks for me, okay? And it's bad. It's so bad. He made stir fry the other night, and I'm like, oh my Lord, this thing. And I put out on Facebook, hashtag I'm spoiled.
I agree. And you've been spoiled for how many years now?
45.
45 years. That is amazing. So when you two met, you were not as healthy as you are now. You had put all these restrictions on yourself. And then what was it about him other than his good cooking? I mean, was it, how did you know to relax a little bit and to let yourself be?
It was one of those things that, you know, you have to understand, I've been a pastoral counselor and a coach after this, working with a lot of couples. I wouldn't advise doing what we did, but we met and were married in 2.5 weeks.
Oh my.
Christy forgot that.
I did. I forgot about that.
I think he got me to relax enough to say yes, you know.
The first time in your life you went on impulse, huh?
That's right. That's right. Oh yeah. It was a total, what's that movie? Synchronicity or something? Serendipity. Serendipity.
Gotcha.
It was probably both. But both of those S words. But he was able to, I could see the unconditional love and the hope that came from that. The unconditional love, accepting me the way I am, and long bushy hair, and I'm not a size 0 anymore, people. So, you know, well, he told me later I looked like Tiny Tim. I'm like, oh, that's wonderful. You know, what a compliment, you know. But in all truth, I was in trouble. I was in big trouble, and it could have gone south very badly. So God just says, you know, I'm going to do a thing here. I'm going to bring a codependent I mean, well, we probably were codependent. I'm going to bring a cook. I'm going to bring a cook to an anorexic and save her life, But also we sang together, and we started the relationship based on just beautiful music. And I sang to him, he sang to me, and then we figured out we blended well, all in 2.5 weeks, right? But it was a soul relationship. And then God just anointed it and put his stamp of approval in a magical setting. And later he kind of, this is funny. Anorexics usually can't have 5 children, right? Because we're electrolyte challenged and it's not good. So I have 5 grown children and 12 grandchildren now. And so he kind of made his point, right? That is God. And my husband, and we started singing together, and each child came into the world with this beautiful, perfect pitch. And so the singing was amazing. And so we did sing together as the Garcia Family Singers for years. And we missed that going up to the Summit Club in Tulsa, Oklahoma on Christmas Eve and singing. But it's just been a blessing to watch God do that. But yes, I did relax enough to say yes.
You said each of your kids was born with perfect pitch. And the first thing I imagined was those 3 a.m. wake you up and you're just going, oh, what a lovely voice. Was it like that?
Their cries are even on perfect pitch, right? Yeah.
They're all in harmony. Oh, that's great. So today, you've actually made a career, quite a long career, of helping other people, I think, find a little bit of what you found, that self-acceptance, the ability to have self-discipline without bondage, without those tight restrictions on who we are, and the ability to express what lies underneath it. I know you and I actually had a couple of sessions, because when I met you, I was like, I want to try this. This sounds like fun. And I have never discussed such painful things and laughed so much. I mean, it was like something's wrong here, because we just cracked up the whole time. But it was so freeing, and just leveled up my, what I already understood about myself. It added to that and leveled up my confidence and my ability to just love myself. My self-talk over the last several years has really evolved. I can be kind to everybody but me. And I used to be just downright hateful to myself. And, it doesn't work. It's definitely counterproductive. And over the last few years, I've really been able to change that. But you did a lot of helping me, because you say you're over recovered anorexic, but you're actually gorgeous, and you just fill up a room when you walk in with your enthusiasm and your passion. And I think you helped me a lot to recognize that people like that don't have to be mean to themselves, and that it's just helped me evolve.
Yes. Well, the method, my life kind of evolved in wanting to bring hope and empowerment to women and find out who they really are. And I think that, one of the brands of anorexics is they really don't think of themselves as God does. It's a less than situation. It really is less than. They think of themselves less than, and they're becoming less than all the time. But it's an invisibility, and they're really shutting down, emotionally and every other way. So you can see that, I do possess God's joy, and He's given it to me. So I decided that I wanted to learn everything I could about the human nature and our journeys and our emotionality and our relationality and our spirituality. So I took some training as a pastoral counselor and became that, an ordained minister and things like that. But I still, and I wanted to, I evolved into some coaching because I love to see people move from point A to point B and really close up that performance gap and really move forward in life, because I like results. I'm a little more solution focused that way. And so I discovered that they were starting to look at coaching very recently, probably in the last 7 to 8 years, really, within that time frame, as more the healing has to occur so that we can become, we can transform, and we can perform and form our joyful identity in business, in our professional life, in our personal life. So I began to, seek out, what is it that we do to get rid of those blocks? What is it we have to do? And we all have them. I was trying to write that book and got to this place where perfectionism was choking me off. I couldn't get it done because it wasn't perfect. And actually it wasn't. But when I finished it, I just let it be not perfect. Right. Yeah. And so I learned that there was something in the body that's an emotional, it's a neuro-emotional effect, and a mind-body protocol. Scientists started figuring this thing out because of meridian points. And I wanted one that was a little more less woo-woo, right? But I think mine's pretty woo-woo.
Go with woo-woo, why not?
It's woo-woo, right? Well, it's the same woo-woo that chiropractic was 40 years ago.
Yeah.
People said, oh my gosh, they cracked their backs and straightened things out. But it's based on it's based on the same science of the meridian points and the flow. And then acupuncture is just, people just love them in the Bible Belt. They're like, what? So, but people come out, well, see, God made them. He created the meridian points.
They're his power generators full of electricity. Yeah.
So we're all electric, but I didn't figure all this out. In fact, I really, really thought these people were nuts. So pretty soon, these people. So I went in and watched a session, and my jaw was on the ground because it was a couple that I had dealt with in my counseling and my coaching of relationships. And it was like 6 sessions in 45 minutes each, with all their issues right there, taking them back to a root in their life, in their, you might say, subconscious catalog. So we have a little file cabinet, and you pull out the little file cabinet, and in there is all these little saved up defining moments and root things and memories, and they contain negative trauma emotions. And so I figured out, I thought, I know where mine's going to go when I had it done, and sure enough, it took me to some very, very painful places. But like Christy was saying, it gets funny because you clear it quickly. And we just were laughing. And I thought, how could we laugh about, we just cleared self-hatred, Well, but the joy in that is then you get the creative emotion and you can build new transmitters. And the whole idea is neuroscience is the old story and the new story. Is it that remarkable? So we get to get rid of the old narrative and take on the new. So somehow magically, they had me at, watching that first one, and I went for training, and the results have been amazing in my own life, as well as many, many others now. I've been a master practitioner for 6.5 years. So, but looking back, I'm like, this is crazy. And it is based on applied kinesiology, and it is muscle testing. And when you do the muscle testing on the little chart, the neuroemotional chart, you can find where that was stored. And it's really pretty much, you stored it, you clear it, your subconscious and your conscious mind get on the same page. And then you see yourself totally different. And when it's faith-based, we add a prayer and we bring God into it. And thank you, Lord, that you've allowed me to clear this sucker. And find the inner vows, find the lies, find the agreements. And I thought, what could be bad about this?
Yeah.
There's, except the first session someone has, they look at you like you are Looney Tunes. Like, really? You know, 'cause you're holding their arm and it's caving down at the appropriate trauma emotion. And you're like, what? And
people are like, did I do that or did you do that?
I know, right? But it's 96% accurate. And I've had people say, oh my word, I knew there was something at that age. Or some of them know when it goes to something very, very painful. But the beauty of this is you don't stay in the pain long because you clear it like that.
Yeah.
You
Well,
just
and
find
I'm
it.
going to interject for a second because some people watching may not understand a couple of concepts. So one of the biggest breakthroughs I think that neuroscience has discovered is that your memories aren't all stored in your head. I mean, that electricity and the responses of that kind of go all through your body. And
Yes.
they affect, that's why people get sick from stress, right? So they affect your body. But you also form a lot of your auto responses when you're immature and you know, something happens that you're not old enough or mature enough to process. So you process it as a 2-year-old or as a 5-year-old. And
Yes.
years later, it's still causing you to respond in ways. So just wanted to clarify
It's a
that.
cellular. That was well said. You know, and one analogy that might help is, you know, you have a computer and you have this great computer and suddenly you have all these little virused up files.
Yeah.
And it messes things up. The computers doesn't work as well, right? It's slow or it's just not clear. And we look at this as clearing out. We're literally deleting those virused up files that were much like Christy says, they were formed at a certain age for a person. Like, for instance, I'll tell you this story. My first Splunk session took me to 3-4, and they call it 3-4 because it's 4 years old and they count the 9 months in the womb. So it's 3-4.
I got you.
Subconscious talk, you know. And it found a place where I was experiencing violent aggression, and it was top ahead, which meant it wasn't that I was being mean. It was someone else was being mean, not to me, but I had a memory pop when I touched the points. And suddenly I saw this room full of people fighting. And I kind of went, oh, and all these other little emotions. I felt powerless. I felt hopeless. I also detached. And there was some other things in there, out of control, and some of these really fun, cool emotions, right? That are trauma emotions. Christy's like, really? And I cleared them. And it was one of my very first appointments, sessions. So none of us knew what was going on because we were all new. But I called my sister and I said, okay, I'm doing this thing. What happened when you were 6 and I was 3? And she goes, I told her a little bit about it. And she said, well, Erin, this is very interesting. This is when Dad came back from Korean War. I had never met him. He came back when I was 3. And he and Grandma got into it. We'd been living with Grandma. She says, literally, they were hitting each other. I went, oh, really? So it was accurate. Yeah, make sure nobody watches this. No, I'm teasing.
We might be in trouble.
they're all gone pretty much now, except my sister.
Well, and that was many years ago, and they've learned better behavior since then, I'm sure.
Can you imagine?
Oh, man.
And then by the end of it, I had made this little vow. That was one episode. That was the event. And then, I found out that I had made a vow that things will always kind of be out of control. And boy, when you change that one, you're finding more order. You're deciding that things don't have to be out of control.
Right.
But I felt like I had to deal with chaos a lot. And I think I did, but
now you help clear chaos out of people's lives. I am so grateful for you. And I'm really glad that we're friends. I really, really am.
I'm glad we're friends too. It's
Kim
so
or
good to meet
Connie,
you.
do you
too.
have a question that you'd like to ask or anything?
I
you'd
have
like
been
to-
absolutely fascinated by you. First of all, I'm also from Nebraska.
Oh,
Second of all, and I understand that a dysfunctional family business. And so, how long when you started doing this? How long did it take you to really completely understand the science behind it? Because there's definitely science behind it. I'm a full believer. So how did you go from maybe not necessarily believing? Because I know for me, it took me a few years for me to say, okay, this is for real. And so what about you? How long did it take you to come to the realization that this was real stuff?
6 months. 6 months of
Really?
clients. 6 months of clients getting results. And I was like, wow, I think this is a thing.
That's amazing. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I've had clients for 6 years now, so I get to see where they're going now. Even Christy, not that Splankna was the only thing, and this is called Splankna, Splankna. It means, it's the Greek word for the innermost being. They used to call it theoenergetics, but it sounded like an exercise program.
you're only exercising one arm.
That's right. But I always know that Splankna is only one of the protocol, one of the, the modalities that will help. But it seems to be, we might not actually be able to connect all the dots, but it's funny. Most everyone that has done Splankna, 96% of them, I would say, have moved on and done incredible things in their lives.
So once you have a client, do you have to go back and rework on things, or once you've cleared it, is it good? How does that work?
That's a really good question. It'd be like you going to the chiropractor and he finds real important places that are off in your x-ray, and you might need 3 sessions to bring relief. And then 6 sessions might really start the ball rolling. But it's different with every person. So I just let them do as many as they're comfortable with. But what we've noticed is I had this young man, I'm going to use that story, 1 session. And he was headed to an anger management situation, inpatient. 1 session, he didn't have to go. So each individual's different. And yeah, is it gone? Well, you may have that other little virus file that might have some of the same emotions. So revisiting it, I tell people, you come when you know you need to. And I've probably had 50 sessions in 6 years.
There's practice in between, that replacing those old thoughts with those new ones.
It is a process, yes.
Well, I have to say that the woo-woo stuff, as like you were calling it, I giggle because there's a lot of woo-woo stuff that works. We just don't understand it. It's why it's woo-woo. And so I do appreciate the fact that you are spreading hope, because there's a lot of people suffering from things that for decades, lifetimes, that don't know how to change that. And that is the hope that you're spreading. So I appreciate you telling your story and sharing like the amazing thing that you can do. How can people get a hold of you? Like, how can they contact you to find out more information? Because I think that's one of those things that some people might be, they just want to know first, Yes.
Yes, they can email me at erin@erinkgarcia.com. And they can also go to my website, which is, guess what? erinkgarcia.com. And there's a little place that they can ask for contact. And on there is also my phone number, etc.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being
Very
on
honored.
with us tonight.
Thank you.
It's very great to meet you, and hopefully we can get to know each other some more. I hope you join us for the Zoom after party tonight. If anyone wants to join us for the after party, go to the mysexybusiness.com website. The Zoom link will be there. The team is working really hard. We're having technical difficulties again, just so everybody knows. So I know we're just, we're going with the flow and we're going to keep going because that's what we do. But thank you, Erin.
Thank you for having me. Bless you.
So, ladies, I guess then we are going to go to a short break. And I think that our next guest is having trouble getting in. We are trying to work on that. And we'll be right back, guys.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in the palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win every way. You showed me how to spread my wings.
Welcome back, guys. Sorry, we're trying to solve some technical difficulties while we're on the countdown. Our next guest, I am not sure if she's having trouble getting in or just what, but we're going to talk about her until we can figure that out. The team is working really diligently to try to get that worked out. Anyway, I don't even know what to say. I wish I was brilliant enough to tell you all the technical reasons why we keep having trouble, but we're working on it, guys. It must be really good. That's the thing I keep thinking. This must be really good is why we have had this much trouble. So here's the awesome sauce. We have someone coming up that is amazing. She actually was introduced to me by Miss Connie. She actually made the introduction to me, and I'm very grateful, Miss Connie, for you introducing me to her. It's Elena Ledoux, and she's been on Hope to Hope before, and what a little powerhouse. She is an amazing woman. She has done all kinds of things. I don't want to tell her story, but I also don't want to miss out on everyone hearing her story. She's got several different things that, that she's got going on.
She's amazing. So the first time I met Elena, she was a friend of a friend. And I was looking for people to interview when I first moved to Vegas because I didn't know anybody here. So I decided the best thing for me to do was I reached out to one person and she says, well, I've been here all my life. Who do you want to know? And I said, I want to know interesting ladies that I can get to know and become part of my tribe. And Elena was one of the very first ones that I met. And when I heard her story and what she did, she took on a major university here in Vegas to save young people's lives, which I'm hoping she's going to tell that story. And then just one thing after another, she is out there doing everything. I mean, you never know what she's going to be doing next. In addition, she runs an amazing house maid service that is phenomenal. It's considered one of the best in the city, or the best in the city. So. And then she's got all these others. She's been an attorney, all these other things that she's been doing. So yes, I hope she can get on because I haven't actually had a chance to talk to her in a little while. This will be fun.
We are having technical difficulties. If you two could hold the conversation for just a second, I'm going to hop off so I can try to see if I can do something to help. Sorry.
Can we talk about Elena behind her back because
we can talk about it.
This is dangerous. This is very dangerous.
Go away. Kim invited me to the Biz Besties retreat. Wonderful
Oh,
retreat.
God.
She invited me to the Biz Besties retreat, and she was telling me about the amazing people that she had coming. And I was excited to see you because I know you, and I was excited to see Kim because I know Kim, and I was a little intimidated about the others, but I was, I'll always try, right? And she said, "Oh, you're getting in at the same time as my friend Elena. And so I'm going to be busy. Can you ride with her to the house?" And I said, "Well, sure, because, hey, carpooling, right?" The whole way there, Elena and I talked nonstop. And it's so funny because if I had arrived at the house before meeting Elena, I might have said a couple of words to her and just been totally overwhelmed with how amazing she is. But instead, we're in the car. And so we just started talking, and she's amazing. And so I'm looking forward to seeing her again. Now, when I say amazing, I know you hear this a lot, but when you start talking to Elena, she just has this practical common sense, just a
Oh.
solution to every problem. And
Yeah.
and it's practical and common sense. And it totally sounds like, well, why didn't I think of that? But I would never have thought of a lot of the stuff that she has done. And it's
I have
really,
a nickname for her.
yeah.
It's an orchid with an orchid. An orchid with a pistol. No, a flower.
Flower with a pistol, yeah.
Yeah, a flower with a pistol. That's it. And because that's exactly what she is. I mean, you look at her and you see this beautiful woman, and she's tiny, and she's, she looks like she might even be a little delicate. And then you start listening to what she does, and it's like, holy cow!
Yes.
So she's got a pistol behind her that she makes things happen.
There's nothing where most people say, "Oh, I wish I could do this," or "Oh, this might be a good idea." By the time they get the sentence out, she's already doing it, because why wait? Just solve the problem.
Exactly.
And she takes care of a lot of people that way.
Well, I have to tell you, she's in the green room. We're trying to get her up. So I think we are almost there. We're all excited. We're telling tales on you, Elena, just so you know.
I can't believe you're all on. This is so exciting. Hi. Oh, my favorite people. How are you guys?
Good.
We're good.
Sorry I'm late. Just got carried away with my birthday celebrations.
Birthday.
Yeah, it's in 2 days, but thank you. Yeah.
We should sing. Oh, no, we shouldn't.
No.
We can. That would be great.
We'll let Chris.
I think we would definitely have a copyright issue there.
Oh.
Yeah.
We're fighting the forces that be, because they keep taking us off because of music that we have like a license to use, but they keep taking it down because they say we don't. So we have had all kinds of issues tonight. We're just going to keep going, Elena, and we're going to talk to you now instead of just about you.
Okay, great.
You know that I love you dearly, and I was just telling Miss Connie, thank you so much for introducing us, because you have been on Hope to Hope before, and you've shared several stories with us, and then you came to the Atlanta Biz Besties, and oh my goodness, that was so much fun. I think the whole world should be jealous, because we got to hang out with Elena like all weekend.
No, it was amazing. It was a great experience. So I'm so excited about having it. Great.
Well, tell us. We're gonna ask you the same question that we ask everybody, and that is, how are you broken open, and what was the outcome? Like, what story are you going to tell us tonight? Because I know you have multiple stories of overcoming things, and you get to pick. I want you to pick tonight what it is you want to spread hope about.
Oh man, the latest way that I broke open is that from this pandemic and the whole thing, where, Connie knows we're in Vegas, and Vegas is, we got a brunt of it because we are a tourism like industry, right? So a lot of our businesses in Las Vegas got really badly affected, and a lot of our people got badly affected. And of course, I have a lot of friends, and it was really, really hard for me. March, April, May, I would say, like as it started like happening to us, it was really hard to watch my friends seemingly lose everything overnight. It was just really hard, and you can't. And the scale of it was so huge that it's not. You just kind of like give up almost internally, because you can comfort one person going through a hardship. You can comfort two people going for a hardship, but when it's like so widely spread, it's everyone, and there's no end in sight. That's when I had my dark days. That was like earlier this year, um, and compounded by that, seeing, I'm in the cleaning. Well, one of my businesses is cleaning business, so this is kind of my origin. I have a lot of friends in the industry, and so have seen me or not, but seeing the industry devastated. So my friends across the country is devastated. My friends locally are devastated. It's just really, really, like I had a hard time coping with that, especially since I wasn't prepared mentally to go there. I didn't expect it to happen, right? We no one did. I don't think any of us knew this was going to happen, and all of my friends cope with that differently. Some people just withdrew, and some people were in denial. Some people were in state of shock, and it's kind of like, after you have this like big nuclear explosion and you see people kind of wandering around and just kind of out of it. That's what it felt like, and I couldn't believe that this is our world. But eventually I was like, well, me being devastated over this, that's not gonna like change anything, right? Or help anyone. So I need to put my big girl panties on and start, working my way out of this. So yeah, I started kind of trying to like help myself first, trying to figure out, okay, why am I so devastated? I talked to my husband, and he was very optimistic about it, and he's very wise about it. So that helped me a lot, and he let me kind of talk it through. And one of the things that I realized initially, that it was devastating to have to not have enough information. So a lot of times we're afraid of unknown. So remember, in the beginning, it was such a soup of information, and disinformation is like, what is going on? Are we all gonna die? Like, do we need to wear masks? Do we need to jump, out of the window? I mean, what's happening? Are people, do we need to lay people off? If we lay people off, are they gonna be starving in the streets? I mean, like, are they gonna be entitled to benefits? And is coronavirus transmissible by air? Is it transmissible by touch? So when I go outside my house, am I gonna die instantly? It's like all these things kind of swirling around. And I feel like for me, my personality is very kind of rational. I like computing things and analyzing things. And now there's nothing to analyze because it's a freaking soup, right? So the one thing, yeah, once I talked that through, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go out and find some facts. So grounding in facts and kind of facing the fear. So it's almost like, what am I facing? Tell me how bad it is. And I talked to a lot of medical professionals who are my friends, and one of them said something like, at least it's not Ebola plus Corona, like Corona Ebola. Like, imagine, it's like I was like, you're right. That is good news, right? So, but she's the one who was helping. She runs a nonprofit. She's a nurse practitioner, Zena, right? So she dealt with people with Ebola. That's why she's telling me, like, there are things out there worse than this, right? Even worse than this. And she's very stoic about it. So that helped too. So after talking to a lot of medical professionals, doing some research, actually kind of testing out some of the theories I've had. For example, if somebody's applying for unemployment, I was talking to them like, are you getting anything? Right? So are you getting any help? Right? If you're running a nonprofit, is everybody in dire need and asking you for help? So kind of like putting all the pieces together into like this like puzzle. And then it gave me a little more ammunition to make decisions. So then I'm not so terrified. Like even if it's really bad, like I need to know what it is first, right? I think we're all kind of can agree to that. It's easier to operate once you know the reality. So that's what's missing. Reality was missing altogether in the beginning. And so once I reconnected with it, I felt instantly better. And then you know how there was the full period where you're like, all right, so what I gotta do is like exercise, and I have this like downtime, so I'm gonna like start cooking and do like Coursera courses, right? So I went through that whole thing. I'm like, because my husband's like, yeah, try this, you know, like maybe it'll keep you occupied for a little bit. So I did like all these courses. And I was like, that doesn't really help me. I mean, I did do it, right? I took a bunch of courses online, and it kept me a little bit occupied. But then I did my usual. Can you did I lose you guys?
We can hear you. We just can't see
Can you hear
your
me?
pros.
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you though.
She may not be
Can
able
you
to
still
hear
hear me?
us. Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Okay, let me see. Is that me or is that you guys? It could be
Oh, there
me.
you are. You're back.
You're back.
Let's see.
I'm gonna push you down. I don't know if you she may have to log off and back on. If you can hear me, Elena, you may have to log off and back on. We have learned that trick over the years.
Yeah. You know, I can just imagine how scary that must have been, and why she would have felt so down, because she started that cleaning business to help people, to give people
Absolutely.
jobs. And when you're responsible for that many lives and you don't know if it's better to keep paying them and sending them out there, or you know, let them get sick. Sorry, Elena, I was just mentioning your company was started to help people, and that must
Exactly.
have been overwhelming for you when you had to decide, well, do I keep them working or not?
Yeah, no, it was hard, and let alone it's like when I'm sending them. So a lot of my people said we want to continue working. Well, okay, I can hustle and try to find the clients while everybody's scared to have anybody in the home, and I've done it. But on the other hand, is it even safe to send them out there? Is it safe to get them working, right? So I had to do that kind of research as well. So after all the pieces were reconnected, and I realized that it is safe given certain conditions and certain protections that we're coincidentally we're doing already. So that helped. And I talking to doctors, I believe them more than infectious diseases doctors, as opposed to just random dude on the internet, you know, or gal on the internet. So yeah, that made me feel better. And then we started kind of re-engaging with our community and helping them, and kind of I fell back onto what happened during the the mass shooting we had in Las Vegas a couple of years ago. I was so affected by that, but what really helped us was to serve our community and go out and be like, what do you need help with? You know, so they're saying like, well, I'm an ER physician. I haven't been at home for like 3 days straight. So if you can come to my house and clean, I'd appreciate it. Say no more. So we've been doing that. And even though it's a minor thing in the scheme of things, in the scheme of tragedy, we did it for us because that made it feel better, right? So, so this time around, I immediately fell into the same. Like as soon as I realized the scope of it, I said, like, this is gonna help us if we re-engage and start caring for other people. Then our own kind of we'll feel more in control. Like at least we're doing something, as opposed to just being curled up in the fetal position and crying in the corner. So.
I love that
I
about
think
you.
one of the things that, because I follow you and you talk, and I love the idea that you're putting out that you'll come and help to completely clean the house, not just house cleaning, but just thoroughly clean it and disinfect it. And with so many families being at home, sharing a home right now, I mean that's a wonderful service that you offer that is going to make a difference and possibly save lives.
Absolutely. And, that's how, when I was asking a friend of mine who's infectious diseases doctor, and I said, like, what do you think? Are we essential? Should we clean? Should we not clean? Like, why don't you tell me? He's like, don't you dare stopping. Like, who is going to do this? So it's like, and then the way it was explained to me, like, okay, so they're fighting this on the front lines in the hospitals. And then, patients, they go home and then they have germs everywhere. Everybody's coughing and sneezing. No one is cleaning. And, then suddenly you have like 4 people to deal with as opposed to 1. So he's like, we need you, right? We work together. So, and then it was a matter of, okay, if that's what he's saying, they need us. That's one thing. Are we essential? Yes. Then is that safe for my people? Because even if I can't ask them to do something to risk their life. And so I kind of explained to them, these are the risks. I'll go with what you guys want. Like if even 1 out of 40 people says like, I still want to have my job and do this, serve the community. I said, you never signed up to be first responder. You just got a house cleaning job, right? So, but now you're shifting into that. So I'm going to give you a choice. Like, what do you guys want to do? If you want to sit it out, I will always take you back. But if you want to go for it, I'll try to find the clients or even community projects to work on. And so almost overwhelming majority of our employees said we want to continue on and we want to do this. A lot of it was not even just the sense of they try to retain sense of normalcy, but it was also they didn't want to lose that security because they saw a lot of people losing their jobs. We had Vegas was just epicenter for job losses, and still is. So they're like, I know, like I'm gonna keep the job. I'm gonna put a mask on, and I'm gonna do my best. And everybody gets tested in our company at least twice a month, and then we have all the protocols, and we're really strict about it, and we confirm the symptom-free at the very least. So we minimize it as much as we can. I mean, it's still possible to get sick, but it's much, much less likely.
Well,
So that was my journey.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful gift. Not only you're giving to your employees, but also to the people out there that really need the help right now. I mean, being able to have somebody come in and clean is critical for some of these people.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's critical for my own like mental health. If I am in a dirty environment that's like cluttered, it's just like really distressing to me. I don't know. In the beginning, it was like slightly distressing, and then gets worse and worse and worse to the point where I just start cleaning, right? And it's like I don't do it because I'm good at cleaning or anything like that. I just don't like. I don't do well in a dirty environment, and I think most people. I'm not unique. I think that's normal.
absolutely.
That's why you have, you have depression, and you have people who are depressed in like really, really badly cluttered environments, right?
Well, I can use a phrase that you and I share, and that is not acceptable.
Yes, exactly. That is not okay. That is not acceptable. Exactly. So
I love when you tell that story about it not being acceptable, that the university was not doing what they needed to do, and you told them it was not acceptable.
It's not. It's not.
No.
And that's I feel like that's almost like a female thing. It's a mom thing. It's a woman thing. Some things are just not right. We better clean them up. Who's gonna clean it up? If no one's gonna clean it, I'll clean it, right? So it's kind of like how we think.
Well, I have to spread a little hope in another direction, because you are the proud fur mama of a cute little fur ball. Is he close?
Mochi, where are you? He was. He usually follows me around, but I think my son tried to scare me because I'm he is really, really cute, and actually he's not supposed to be my puppy. He's our child's puppy, but he just designated me, I guess, as somebody to follow around everywhere, including the bathroom and everywhere. It's just, but just so coincidentally, he just left somewhere. I don't know where he went. I think my kids decided to scare me so I can have this time with you guys.
I love it.
It does help a lot. It does help a lot to have like this kind of like unbridled joy, like a piece of joy running around and just like full of love and just no limitations, right? So it's amazing. I went from being a total cat person to like suddenly a dog mom.
That's quite a transition.
Yeah.
I love it though.
Oh, here, Mochi, come. Yeah, I'll grab him. Mochi, come. Come, baby.
I hope, and we live in the same town.
Yeah. There he is.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, what a precious.
Oh.
Mochi.
Oh,
I need to
Yeah.
pet him. I'm just saying. I need to
I
come
know.
there and just go ahead and hold him now.
Yes,
Aw.
you are welcome to come anytime and hold him. He's a little antisocial, but he's basically a gentleman, right, Mochi? Yeah,
How old is
he's a
he?
good boy.
How old is he?
He was born in June, so
Oh,
was it 5 months? He's young, yeah, but he grew like he doubled in size since we got him. He was just like a little tiny, fur ball when we got him. He was so innocent, but he likes chewing on things. You can see he's gonna chew my hand off.
I love it. Well, Elena, do you have something that you can give advice? Because I want to like kind of frame this. You have one of the, and you tell me the right things because I may not get it right. You have one of the largest cleaning services in Las Vegas, and you've been ranked #1.
Yeah, for years.
Like for you, and then you've gotten all kinds of awards. Help me with that. You got a national award not very long ago.
Yeah, it's kind of like escalated. We won the Best of Las Vegas the first year in business, and then we won a lot of like Angie's List Super Service Awards. Then we won SBA Small Business of the Year award for State of Nevada, and then that was last year. And then Entrepreneur of the Year for NABO, and then National Association of Women Business Owners. And then this year it was the Community Service Award that was by Nice Job, which is like a national app for reviews. And then the small U.S. Chamber of Commerce has the Dream Big Awards, which I didn't know, but it kept popping on my Facebook. And so I applied to that, and then we were one of the 3 finalists. So I'm very like blown away. That it's just, I don't know, it's award season for me, and I don't know what to say. So it was not by design.
last year, every time you pulled up her Facebook page, there was another big award. I was like, how cool is that? Congratulations.
Yes,
Yeah, thank
congratulations for all of them. But that saying all of that, you really know what you're doing. You train other companies to do this. I mean, you have gone way beyond just your little community. You have
Yeah.
reached out nationally. You have on one of the platforms that you write, you have several million, do you not, followers that
I have 76 million views on my writing on Quora. So people read me for some reason, like my musings. So yeah, I do business coaching for service companies, and I just started running my husband's company, which is Boss Security Screens. We do security screens for homes, and we're very excited to expand it. So I'm kind of way kind of like over my head. So, but that's where
No
I
way.
enjoy myself.
you thrive there.
I thrive there. I want to say I thrive there, but the jury is out. We shall see. But at the very least, like stretching, I think feels good. Really trying hard feels good. Whereas, my usual company is just my regular company is just kind of like on the cruise control. It's costing me. I spend like 4 hours a month on it, so it's not that challenging for sure. And Puppy was really challenging, actually. Of everything I've done, like he seems to be really challenging because he constantly needs something.
Well,
Yeah.
I just have to say, like, I am so proud of you and all that you're doing to not just take care of your family, but to impact other people and to serve big.
Well, it's an
So it
honor, to be a part of your tribe. So I'm like, I'm sad we didn't have another reunion, but I guess we'll see in like post-pandemic world, right? We'll get reunited. Get reunited, walk on some toes or something like that.
Oh my goodness. I am so out on that one.
Oh,
I
wait,
can't pull it, Dave.
I thought she said coast. I was thinking, yeah, the beach. Oh, no.
No,
no.
yeah. That's
Fucking fire.
Glass
I
is
made
good
peace with
enough.
that
I'm good
because
with
when
glass.
we had it last time and we walked on glass, and then he mentioned that and we talked about it, chuckled, and I'm like, I need to make mentally peace for that someday I'm gonna have to do it. To like, well, I can see us doing that, gathering up, and he's gonna be like, all right, ladies, time to do it, let's go.
I don't even want to be in this same town with him because I'm afraid he's gonna trick me again.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. Just make peace with that. Start
Well,
practicing.
Elena,
For all of us.
thank thank you
Yeah.
for being on tonight with us. And
Yeah, of course.
I love you and I appreciate you. And I want to catch up because we need to have some girl time away from
Yeah.
everything. So
Yeah.
if you can join us tonight on the Zoom, please do. We're having an after party on the
Okay.
Zoom.
I'm gonna try. I had a lot of technical difficulties today, as you noticed, because we're traveling. We're in San Francisco right now, so and everybody else in my household are currently on my Wi-Fi network. So, but I'm gonna try.
I understand. I
Yeah.
understand. Well, if we
Okay.
see you later tonight, I hope we will. But if we don't, we'll catch up soon.
All right. I hope so. I'll see you guys. Bye.
Love
Bye.
you.
Love
Bye.
you too. Bye.
Bye, Mochi. So stinking cute. Oh, so we had somebody in the green room, and I think they got kicked off. So we're gonna go to the timer, and then we'll be right back with our next guest.
Woo.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in the palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings.
Welcome back to Hope Conference 2020. I'm super excited about the next guest. I say this every time, but I can't help it. I think we have the coolest peeps in the whole world.
Agreed.
And this is one of my besties, I will just say. He is an amazing person, just an amazing person, period. But he's done an awful lot to help me get past some things. And so I want to introduce, he's a world champion natural bodybuilder. He toured forever with the, I just lost the power team. Sorry, I lost the name of it. And he's played football. He's just an all-around amazing person. And when you see his arms, you will be impressed right off. But it's not his arms that we are so excited that are here. It's his sweet heart. He is the most precious man that, he will love you through some things. So here, welcome to Hope, our very own Smiley Elmore Jr. What's right next to that is my favorite, though.
There we go.
That sweetheart of yours. You are so kind and so amazing, and we love you.
Thank you. Love you guys too. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question because I don't want to spend time telling your story. I want you to tell, but I want you to share something that gives other people hope where you have had an area that you've been broken open in and the outcome.
Yeah. I just tell the story about my testimony, but your testimony, it never ends. It's always different layers to it, right? One of the most recent layers is I never told this, but about 5-6 years ago, my wife and I were doing well. We were at 22 years, I guess, at that point, married, and all of a sudden, she wanted me out of the house. I don't know where it came from. It just came out of blue, right? So being me, I'm just sitting there, I'm taking all in. I didn't think she was serious. I thought she was kidding. She said, "You still here?" She came back in the room, and sure enough, I had to leave. She was screaming at me. I had to leave, and with my parents' house, my dad was living at that time, in my parents' house. And my dad was real encouraging to me. He told me, son, you got to be strong. It's going to be okay. You got to be strong. And I was at the lowest point of my life, Miss Kim. I thought I was at the lowest point of my life when I tried to commit suicide, but I think that took the cake right there. I was down and out, and in my parents' bedroom where I grew up as a little boy, I thought I was stepping back in time. So I slowly out of it. Is that my noise?
I was gonna say we're having trouble hearing you.
It's weird. Is that noise?
There's a strange noise coming, but I don't know where it's coming from.
It's like somebody's popping pans together. Is that better?
Oh, that's better.
better.
That was weird, huh? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'll just say this. Yeah, I would. I cried about 3 months.
We're still having trouble hearing you.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. That's weird. Can you hear me? Is that better?
It is for a second, and then it goes back out. Just keep trying.
Okay. Yeah, so I would cry myself to sleep. It was about a 3-month period. And through that whole time, my wife would have me pray with the kids. She called before we went to bed. She'd call me or I'd call them, and she'd have me pray with the kids. We have 4 kids, right? So it was a real sweet time. And she'd have me over for dinner sometime. And my dad, he would give me the best advice. He said, son, you need to be strong. Your wife needs to be strong for her. I thought I was strong at that point, but evidently I was not. There was another level I need to go to. But lo and behold, 3.5 months later, my wife took me back to the home, and this is six years later. January 2nd, we will have been married 29 years. So at that point, I could have been really stupid about it and said, how does she get this and thought on it. We would never been reconciled. And I just back and kept my mouth shut, which is what I got to do. I swallowed my pride, and I prayed a lot and depended on Christ, listened to my parents, and sure enough, we're a couple again, reconciled, all because of the power of God. Because it could have gone. I could have been divorced at this point right now, but that was one of the most recent lowest times of my life, and I thank the Lord that it all worked out.
Well, I thank him because it did too, because you have a beautiful family. Your wife is amazing too. And your family is amazing. And I think, people that are going through that, people that come up to those places where it gets really hard, you said something really important. Sometimes we just give up or we do stupid things.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good word for all of us, that no matter what's going on, like, to stop and figure it out. Talk to somebody like your dad, like you talk to your dad, and figure that out, because we don't need to do stupid things to make things more complicated.
For sure. In her defense, I mean, she's a beautiful lady, and I have nothing but love for her. But I think she got surrounded by her parents are good people. I think they brainwashed, put some thoughts in her head that I wasn't gonna work out or whatever. I'm not sure what they said to her, but she was certainly brainwashed. And she admits it now, and then she just forgives her parents. I forgive them too. But life is about who you surround yourself with. You can't surround yourself with complainers and people and you put negative in your life. That's gonna rub off on you. Eventually you're gonna believe some of that stuff. So we got to be careful who we surround ourselves with. And she's all about that now. And I'm so glad that the Lord gave us another chance.
Me too. My husband and I went through something kind of similar where I just stopped feeling anything and I was just ready to be free. And I think sometimes, it's not just about you. I mean, sure, there are things that we can all work out in our relationships, but sometimes it's just about we start focusing on the wrong things in our hearts. And it takes a little space for us to remember the good things that we need to focus on. And I'm really glad that you didn't just jump into another relationship because you were afraid to be alone or, things like that, because you guys really are just gorgeous together. Your whole family is so sweet.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad you guys worked out too, Miss Christy. That's beautiful.
God is good. He does good work.
And you said something really awesome there.
So I have
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I have a question. So when your dad was giving you advice, besides telling you that it's all going to work out, what was another piece of advice that he gave you that you're still using today?
Yeah, he told me, don't be so desperate. He said, a woman doesn't like a desperate man. So I'd call her up and I'd beg her. I said, honey, let me in. I'd be out on the front step. Honey, please, Ann, you know, we've been through this. Let me get back in. I was crying. I mean, I was a sad sight, you know. My dad said, he pulled me aside and said, son, you can't do that. You got to be strong. A woman wants a strong man. Just in life, you got to be strong, period. This is a hard time, but you can't crumble. And you're going to have he said, you're going to have some other hard times in life, but you can't crumble. You have to be strong, and God wants you to be strong. That was a great piece of advice he gave me, you know.
Certainly was. Wow.
Oh yeah, and he's given you lots of great advice over the years. You have been given a gift in him, and I know he's not with us anymore.
Yeah.
But what a legacy he left in you. I just want to say.
We have a wall of champions right here, Miss. See the wall of champions right here? And there he is. See him right there?
Oh, cool.
Football at TU, and that's him. He's the businessman. They own a investment. My brother took it over, investment business. That's him and my mom right there. See?
Aw.
Oh,
How long were they together?
52 years, something like that. They were married.
Wow. Well, can I tell on you?
Yes, ma'am.
You know I'm going to anyway. You know.
I can have a choice.
Well, I have to say that, you know, you are one of the most non-judgmental people on this planet. And I have dealt with my weight all my life. Like, it has gone up and down, up and down, up. And it's been that way since I was very, very young. And I was injured quite a few years ago now, but I was injured. I was already overweight, but the doctor took me off doing anything to try to let my knees recover. And I went to you, and this is for the world to know how amazing you are. I went to you because I needed to really do something. I didn't even know if I'd ever walk again, because at that point I was having to walk on crutches, and I had like all this trouble. I will never forget the moment that you were trying to evaluate and see what I could do. And I was struggling with that, but I was down on the floor, and I'm pretty sure you were trying to see if I could even do a not a real push-up, but a baby push-up, I'll call it.
Right.
And you, instead of looking at me and go, man, you just are too heavy, you should have done something different, or, you know, you did not judge me. You got down on the floor and were praying over me to encourage me and to help me. And you've never stopped to this minute. You have never stopped believing that I would be better and that I would be able to do something more and more and more and more. And you know what? I was outside with my dogs today, walking them and thinking, the reason I can go up and down the steps every day, and it's like constantly every day, I think Jesus and I think Dr. Smiley, because had you not believed in me and cared enough to get me past that injury, because I honestly had come to the point of, I didn't know if it was even, if I was ever going to be able to keep going. I didn't know.
Yeah.
But you did.
Yeah, I think I saw how you were, and that you felt bad about it, and I knew that I wanted to let you know how beautiful you were and how beautiful you are. All they had to do is keep trying, never give up, and you were going to grow into the great butterfly that God meant you to be. So I saw you in that cocoon, you know what I mean, and just wanted to encourage you out of it and tell you that it's all going to work out, because I just know I've been in some bad situations myself, being depressed and so forth. And somebody took some interest in me, and I want to. They were like a hero for me. I want to be the hero for you. You know what I mean? And for all the clients that come through our gym here, you know, we have the Wall of Champions. I want to be a hero, a good coach to them, and tell them that no matter what they go through, you know, it's all gonna work out. They trust in Christ and put Him first. There's nothing that they can't get through.
Well, you are my hero, and you're one of my besties. I will never, ever get past that, because I think that is, we all need that. We all need We all need Dr. Smiley in our life. That's what we need. We all need.
We all need a hero, though. We all need a hero.
You know, yeah, sometimes someone encourages us and then maybe we take another dip right into, you know, our old habits because it takes a little practice, but that encouragement sticks with us.
Yeah.
That moment of encouragement that helps us feel like we're not hopeless sticks with us past the next dip and helps us get back up that hill.
Amen. Times continue to happen, don't they? They don't just stop, and at one point we never do have a hard time, don't we? Always they hit us at different patches, don't they? And we're all that encouragement stays with us. You know, the encouragement from people here on earth, the horizontal, but that vertical encouragement from Christ and His Word that we memorize. All that goes together to really take us through life and let us be the best He's called us to be. Amen.
Absolutely.
Amen. Well, and I will say that my inside is what needed healed up more than my outside. Even though my outside was what was broken at the time, it was my inside that needed healed up. And I have to show you something because I know you haven't seen it.
Amen.
We just did our brand new magazine, and going from the picture of me not being able to do a push-up and being so devastated to not be able to do anything to...
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That's pretty awesome, isn't it? That's good.
do you want to...
Can I see it? Oh, wow. There you go.
She looks
You married, huh?
amazing.
You look awesome. Both of y'all look great, don't you?
I just wanted you to know that because, you know, if I'd have stopped back there, I would have never got here. And
Praise
so
God.
it's a pretty amazing journey to have somebody like you along with us, helping us along the way. And I have to celebrate you.
Mhm.
You have done something that I begged you for a very long time to do. What did you just do?
You talking about the book?
Yeah.
We put the ebook out, and I was also in Miss Christie's book too, as well. Did my story, part of my testimony. But yeah, we put the ebook out about a couple months ago. The ebook, arm workout, get your arms stronger. So got that going. I got another one work on abs now, and some legs one later on. So that's in the works. Working on Miss Christie's course, devotion. Writing my first devotional by myself. So I'm going through Christie's advice and getting that done as well. So it's going to be a big 2021.
Yeah, your devotion in Option Ocean was it was just so powerful. I would never have looked at you and guessed that you had been through that kind of a low, and how you've come out of that and how you bless others. It was a real honor to have you part of Option Ocean, and I'm so excited about your devotional that you're working on.
Oh yeah, thank you, Christy. You're a great help. You're a great teacher on that, so I couldn't do it without you. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, we all have something to give each other.
We run in a cool circle.
This is where the cool people are, right?
That's right.
That's right. Well, so what do you want to share with everybody about because today is not like it was what you were talking about. Today is a huge blessing, and you've got all kinds of stuff going. How can people connect with you so that they can experience your amazingness and show them your guns again?
Here we go.
Love it.
Yeah.
So how can people connect with you and you help them? Because I know you're doing a lot of things right now, to pivot because of what's going on in the world.
Yeah. We do a lot of online virtual training now because of the pandemic. Not a lot of people, they cut out from going into our physical gym. We still have a gym open, but we do a lot of virtual now. So they get in touch with us through Smiley's Pulse, SMILEYS, Smiley'sChampionFitness.com. And that's our website, and same name on Facebook as well. Same name on Facebook and Instagram, and also Twitter and LinkedIn. So we're on all those handles there. But yeah, we do a lot. And also I work with a lot of kids now too at the juvenile center. I'm a lead detention counselor now. So when the pandemic hit, had to do something to really reach out and get us another income stream coming. So it's turned out to be a great situation. Get to speak in a lot of kids' lives, and those kids have a lot of trouble going on in their life, a lot of chaos, and we're there as counselors to provide some calmness to them, some peace to them, and it's really a rewarding job, for the city. I love it.
Oh, I'm so
when you
proud.
can,
Yeah.
as a kid, when your life is in such chaos, but you can make a difference in the one thing you have wherever you go, your body.
Yeah.
It gives you a sense of power. It gives you a sense of control in your situations that are so uncontrollable.
Yeah, yeah. They look to us as a role model, and you're right. You have a control of yourself. People see you have that calmness about you, confidence, and those kids want that confidence, but they don't have it now. They come up in broken homes, and mothers in jail, their dad's on meth, something like that. They have some really, really bad home life. So they need some stability, and someone with stability, they crave that stability, and that we love to be there for them, you know. So.
Well, that's powerful.
I am so, you're changing, like, you're based out of Tulsa and Broken Arrow and Bixby and that area, but I'm telling you, you are doing such amazing things. It reaches out to the whole state, really, and it's national if people want to do virtual.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the virtual training sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all over, and then still doing the school assemblies too. I'm starting to get back out. The schools are going to come to a break now, but starting back in January, start back up. We'll get back into schools and do some more school assemblies as well. So we're trying to reach out and reach as many people as you can there, Miss Kim. It's going to go great. And I want to
I'm just,
well, about you as well, Kim.
I'm doing very well.
Let me say something about you too, Miss Kim. Can I?
No, this is about you.
You guys hear me? I was going to say that you caught me in a time I didn't really think I could really say. I was doing pretty well on a scale of 1 to 10. I was about a 5.5 or 6, right, as far as believing in myself. But when I met you, you spoke life into me. You spoke that you said, Dr. Smile, I think I see something in you. I said, I'm glad you see it, 'cause I don't see it. You know, I saw it to a degree, but you saw it. I saw it right here. You saw it on this level, and I'm so glad the Lord crossed our paths, and you were able to speak into my life and my life. I'm glad you're here. You really helped me out. Thank you so much.
You're so sweet. I just love you so much, and I am so grateful that we are in each other's lives.
Yeah, yeah. The Lord knew what He was doing, didn't He?
He definitely did. And think about how many people are impacted because we keep showing up. That's what I keep saying is, you know, we've had all kinds of technical difficulties, like all kinds of stuff, but we just keep showing up because we know over time it's so worth it to impact lives.
Yeah, that's where the victory comes up. You just show up. That's most of the battle right there. Show up with a great attitude, and you're going to win.
Well, okay, so I want to tell the website one more time because I do want everybody to go and get your new book and to connect with you to do virtual training. If they want some guns like that, they're going to have to go to you to get them.
Yeah, we're at Smiley's, SMILEYS, champion, CHAMPION, fitness, FITNESS, Smiley's, championfitness.com.
So awesome. And can they get your book on the website? Is that how they get it?
It's on the web. There's a link on the website for it. It's free to everybody, whoever wants it. It's free, and all the other ones will be too. We're going to make those free to everybody else as well. So, yeah.
Well, I didn't even realize that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Just trying to give people some good value. You know what I'm saying? Give us something that's going to help them.
Yes.
Oh yeah. And the Option Ocean is on Amazon.
Option Ocean is on Amazon, or they can visit onemomentwiser.com, the number 1momentwiser.com, and find it there. And Smiley's chapter is terrific.
Chapter 13. Chapter 13. Amen.
The lucky 13. That's what that was.
We changed it around from the normal meaning of it.
Yeah,
You bet.
That's right. Well, tell us some advice because, you know, a lot of people have been isolated for, you know, a while. Yeah. What is something that somebody can do? We only have like 2 or 3 minutes left, but what is something that somebody can do right where they are, no matter what level of fitness they're at, to increase their health and stay on track?
Yeah, I think it's about habits. I think the first thing I would do when I talk to a new group, a corporate or whatever, I tell them to pick a habit, pick one habit they're going to do, and do that for 5 days. Just a short step at a time, 5 days. like say they're going to drink 2 glasses of water a day. They're going to eat three clean meals a day. They're going to go to bed at 8 o'clock or whatever the case may be. One habit, and do that for 5 days straight. Because you know why? When those 5 days over, they make another 5 days. Before they know it, they've got the whole month involved there. So I say pick one habit and set a short amount of time, 5 days, and make sure you stay on that. And I'm all big about journaling. You're big on that too, Kim. Journaling, journal their thoughts and however they're feeling that day. That way, to look back on that journal and be encouraged themselves at what they were going through and how they got through it. So it's about habits. Set a habit and set it for a short time period, and then go with that habit for those 5 days and keep on going in 5-day increments with that one habit, and eventually add another habit as you go along there.
Awesome.
But that's be my advice for you. Start with one habit and stick with it.
That's a great habit. And I have to tell you, because you will be proud, this is day 325 of a whole bunch of 5 days that my husband and I both have been plant strong. We've made that decision, and we have 325 days under our belt.
Wow, congratulations.
And those belts keep getting tighter and tighter. Well, I guess looser and looser and have to be tight. Yeah, let's put it that way.
Isn't that cool? He's a good looking man too. That's awesome. I look forward to meeting him someday.
I can't wait. I can't wait. He already loves you because of how much I love you. So
well, I love him too. He loves you. I love him. You know what I mean? He knows how to pick him. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, thank you for being on tonight with us, and everybody that's not already privileged enough to know Dr. Smiley, you need to get on and meet him and find out what a sweet, sweet man he is, and tough, and tough. Well, thank you, and we will see you soon, I hope.
Thank you, Miss Kim. Thank you, Miss Chrissy. Bless you, everybody. You have a good one.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Well, Bubba wanted to meet Smiley. See.
Do you not think he's amazing? And Miss Connie, I know you've been having difficulties. You kept going off. Sorry about not getting you back on quicker.
Oh no, that's okay. I don't know what's going on. I mean, it's the signal looks strong, and then all of a sudden it disappears.
Technical difficulties. That's all we can keep saying.
It's the world we live in. We're virtual and we're authentic.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm going to go sit right next to the router tomorrow, so I don't have that problem.
I am excited because our next guest is in the green room and she is ready to come on. So we're going to set our little timer and then we'll come back in 1 minute and we'll move into the next session.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in the palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings.
I am just dancing to this song.
Welcome back to the Hope to Hope Conference 2020. We're so excited to have our next beautiful guest. I can't wait for her to come on. I did not, and I'm going to make a confession, I did not get the bio, so I probably will get none of this right. So I'm just going to tell you what I know. I know she's amazing. That's what I know. And I know that she is hysterical. We actually went to go see her as a group. I can't even remember what in the world we were doing.
It was
But
after
we went.
Rose and Bloom. I remembered after we talked about it.
It was your conference. We had gone as a group to go see her, and I tell you what, if you need to be like entertained, healed from things, and like just have a really good time laughing, she's your girl. She's your girl. So welcome, Dina O'Hara, to Hope to Hope.
Hi, guys.
We can hear you.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. That was a really sweet introduction. Thank you.
Well, we think you're amazing and funny, and those two are a great combo, just saying.
We have good taste.
Well, and I want to say, like, I want to ask the question because I want you to have plenty of time to tell what story you want to tell.
Okay.
But what area have you been broken open in, and what was the outcome? Because everything about this is about shedding hope for other people to pick up. Like, that's really the thing, is we need hope, especially at this point of the world.
Right. No. Okay. No. And that's great. Well, I want to show you guys something first. So if you can see it on my camera, I ran to grab it because I forgot it. I don't know if you can. You see that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. What I want to start with. So I'll get into my backstory just a little bit. I was not raised in the church, and I came from totally the wrong side of the tracks. I think, Kim, I'd shared with you that when I was 16, I was an exchange student, and I got to meet the King of Sweden. I went to the Nobel Awards, and that was amazing. Most people, I share that, and they think I grew up privileged. I didn't. My mom was a recovering alcoholic. She was a single parent. My dad was nowhere in the picture. I just wanted to be an exchange student, like in second, through Rotary, and they interviewed us, and I was up against a straight A student. He played varsity football. He had all the grades. His parents were married. Mom was a stay-home wife. And I had shared that we lived in 22 different cities. My mother was a recovering alcoholic. I was a B student at best. Because of everything we overcame, I got to go, not him. And yeah, and so it's, God uses everything in our lives. One of the other things I have shared before in the past is I was actually born in a home for unwed mothers and given up for adoption. And about 3 weeks after that, my mom couldn't go through with it and went back and got me.
Aww.
So,
Wow.
and it's wonderful, but it cost her everything. She was from a very small town in New York, and after she did that, her mother never again told her she loved her.
Oh.
So her mother never forgave her for getting me back. And
Wow.
And I didn't learn that until my mother passed away 5 years ago. Mom shared that with me. I had no idea what it cost her to come get me. But no, I wasn't raised in the church. Mom had wanted nothing to do with that. And when I was in 8th grade, so I went to see, do you guys remember Facts of Life, Lisa Welshel?
Yes.
Blair. So I was in 8th grade. I was popular. And I even had one of those hanging on boyfriends like you're supposed to have. And, and we'd walk through the halls and hold hands. It was really cute. I think that was about all we did. But the price for getting popular was getting higher and higher and higher in high school and junior high and high school, because drugs were involved, sex was involved, alcohol, and so my neighbors, excuse me, took me to see Lisa Welshel speak, and I was only about 13, and Lisa from Blair from Facts of Life talked about things I'd never heard of. She talked about purity and body image and identity in Christ, and I was just blown away. Now, they had an altar call, and I thought it was for autographs. I don't know, but I didn't know, so I didn't go down. But what I did do is I went home, and I had a good kind of talking relationship with God, even though I didn't grow up in the church, and I didn't mean to do air quotes. So I would always go home and talk to God. And so I went home and sat on my bed, and it's like, there's something different about this girl. And she's only 3 years older than me. She was only 16 at the time. And I want that. It has something to do with the relationship with Jesus Christ. I don't know what that means, but I want it. And I went to every church within walking distance from my house because Mom was having none of it, and asked to join, and they all said no.
What?
And I share that for a reason because it's just very important. As an adult, I get it. An unsupervised child is a very difficult thing to manage.
Oh gosh.
Their idea was go get your mother and bring her, and that wasn't happening. So when I went to New York, I could visit my grandmother's church, but I was allowed to visit. I just wasn't allowed to join. And I took that very personally as a 13-year-old. I thought that there was something wrong with me, or that church was something you had to be born into. And that's
Oh wow.
that's how I received that. Well, an amazing thing, my next door neighbors happened to be Pentecostal or charismatic, I'm not sure which, and they weren't going to let this one go.
Good.
So, ouch. What they did, since I couldn't go back to church with them, is they brought me tapes. And so, I don't know if you guys remember Petra? I think that rocked that band. They would bring me tapes of every single person who came to talk to the youth group after that. And, ow, my mascara is going to hurt me. Sorry, my mascara is running. And one of the tapes turned out to be a famous evangelist, although I didn't know it at the time. And he told this story about he was always afraid that God was going to strike him dead with lightning and zap, leave him as nothing but a grease spot on the ground. And that never happened because that's not God's character.
Right?
God will never leave you dead by the side of the road. And so of all the tapes, that one I kept. And I am losing the lights. Oh, well. Sorry about that. I am sorry. I am having technical difficulties with my mascara. Anyway,
We do, right?
Right. Well, I haven't worn it in a while, and I wore it for you tonight, and my eyes are going, "What's this?" Because it's coming off now. Okay, so for the next several years, what I did is, I would visit churches, but I also I started going towards the occult, which past life readings, tarot cards, auras, and which is definitely the wrong direction. And every time I would start to go, oh no, oh well, it's gone. Every time I'd start to go off in that direction, I would find that tape again.
Oh wow.
And so God used that tape for over 10 years. And I met this really cute guitar player in Chicago, and still hadn't belonged to a church yet or hadn't joined a church, but I had that tape, and I would remember that God's not going to leave me dead by the side of the road. And I met this really, really cute guitar player. I wrote a song about him that I perform when I get to perform. He basically stalked me until I agreed to go out with him as my side of the story. And I know Christy's met him. She knows who he is. And he's
a really
adorable.
cute guitar player.
Oh my gosh, yes, he is adorable. And he's got a day job, so he's an artist who eats, which is awesome. But I met him, and he offered to take me to church on our third date, and a real church. And that kind of freaked me out. And we go in there. It's an old-fashioned church with stone walls. And now there was a Catholic church in my neighborhood that I went to, and so it had a crucifix. And so we go into his church with the solid wooden pews, and I look up, and it's an empty cross, which is what Protestant churches have. They don't have crucifixes. And I whispered, "Why is the cross naked?" Everybody turned around and looked at me. And he's just hiding in the pews. He couldn't answer. He's just shaking. He's laughing so hard. And so I made all kinds of friends after that. Ladies from the choir, they offered me sweaters and stuff because they thought I was cold. I don't know. I was trying to be cute, and I might have had a short skirt and whatever. So but I asked these ladies, it was the Women's Auxiliary Group. I think LW Mill is what they were. And they called themselves the Church Basement Ladies. And so this is my first time in a church in, I don't know, 7, 8 years. And I'm like, church basement ladies, what do you do? And she says, oh, well, we sew quilts and cook supper for Jesus, which is a euphemism for feeding the homeless. I did not know that. And I got bug-eyed. And I laughed. I booked. I'm like, I want out of here. This is like something out of, oh, I can't remember the movie. It was starting to scare me. And,
If he's not on the cross, he must be hungry, you know.
he must be hungry or something. Well, and I get outside and I look at my husband, and this is when, you know, I popped off and I'm like, well, she's either pulling my leg or she's held up her. Oh, no, I said, Jesus has been gone for 2,000 years. That much I know. So she's either pulling my leg or she's held up remarkably well. Yeah, that was how and then we got married shortly after that. He's like, nope, I'm marrying her. This is funny. And but that was kind of my first experience back in church. And when I met him, he played guitar in the bars and in bands. He wasn't going to church. And now he leads worship twice a month at our at Blaze in Broken Arrow. So yeah, I mean, God has taken every piece of both of our stories and done something really awesome with it. But when we first started going to church in Oklahoma, I was like terrified because I was not allowed to belong. I didn't belong. You had to be born in a church. I still believe that. And I was afraid of the basement ladies really freaked me out. But what was awesome, I mean, pastor had come. So we did have our oldest son baptized in the church, and I was expecting our second when we came down here. The pastor came to visit us, and we asked him to baptize the baby. And he agreed, and he asked if we would become members. And I said, well, my husband can, but I can't. And he's like, why not? And so I told him the story of what happened to me when I was a kid. And that was the first time I'd ever seen a pastor cry.
Oh,
He was just, you could just see the tears. He'd never heard of anything like that before. So I joined. He's like, oh no, you're joining our church. You're joining our church. And what was really awesome, and the reason why I showed you this Bible, is he would go back and forth and preach, and he would always talk about the one true Christian faith. But because I didn't grow up in the church, and because I was exploring all the other different traditions, not just the Christian faith, but other faith traditions as well, I walked into his office one day and handed him my Bible and said, prove it. And I guess I did that to the right man, because I used to work for pastors, and the other ones told me that they would have said, go away. So he had the patience for it, and they were doing a precepts class. And I went, and at precepts, if you're not familiar with it, it's seminary on steroids. It's Bible study on steroids. Kay Arthur wrote it. Beth Moore teaches along those lines. And it's all about going into the Greek and the Hebrew and the rote meaning of words. And my first class, and it was on Titus, which is like, I think, the shortest book in the Bible. And to me, it was really, really hard. That's how I was, introduced to actually reading the Bible and all of that. And I got frustrated during one of the homework assignments, and I whipped my Bible against the wall. And that's how I broke it.
Uh-huh.
And what's amazing, and this is God. Oh, let me find the page again. I'm like, where'd it go? Oh, I just lost the page.
Oops.
Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry. And when I finally got over myself, this is what it opened up to. Oh, there we go. I said, you are my servant. I have chosen you and have not rejected you. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. So that was, God talking back to me. Yeah, isn't that just amazing that just the way he does. And from that, I spent several years in the Bible study until they went somewhere else. But, you talk about that was a really difficult time when I first joined the church. And I didn't understand or know the impact that not being allowed to join as a kid had on me. I used to shake violently. I'd sit on my hands so no one could see him shake. I was so terrified of Christians. I would do that. or I would lean against the wall, or I would, stutter, stammer, blush, incredible. And I went from that to working in a church 10 years later. I joined the Christian Writers Guild and I needed to pay for classes, so I took a job as a receptionist. But I love what Smiley said, though, and what you guys are talking about. Life has its ups and downs. It has its ebbs and flows. Abundant life is a roller coaster. I think Mark Lowry talks about that. So, pastor's faith in me changed me. The Bible definitely changed me once I started to learn my identity. But I'm in my 50s and I'm still learning my identity, Kim. Still figuring out who I am. Some people think this comedy thing that I got into was a midlife crisis, loss of identity, but it was, I think, for me coming home.
Yeah.
That's the part I enjoy. And what got me in.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was thinking to go from like your hands shaking and you're stuttering, and now I came to your show at the church where everybody came to see you perform, and it was awesome. I came because you were there, and you were the opening act for somebody I'd never heard of and probably wouldn't have cared about. It's just fantastic. So many people showed up because of that. That's awesome.
Oh, that's right. I think you were there for either probably Joby Sade.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, that was an amazing show. Joby, I love him. He's.
Oh no! Wait, no, it was a girl.
Oh, it was a girl.
It was a girl.
Well, I know Michelle Van Dusen. She's a local comic who does a lot of great shows. So, Leslie, you came for Leslie. Leslie Norris. That's who it was. Yes, I loved that at Life Park. They were very, very open to comedy as evangelistic outreach.
Yes.
And I love that.
Should be.
Yep. That's how God used me. People talk about the pandemic, and we're not allowed to be on stage right now. We're not allowed to be in close quarters right now. But God used the cassette tape to reach me. The technology of the day. It wasn't a live show, and it wasn't a small group, and that's what. They used to do, I guess, a lot of those outside events or external events in the 80s for outreach. So, there's still hope. We're still reaching people like what you're doing right now with this. I think it's fantastic. But yeah.
That encouragement tonight, because this was supposed to be live and we had trouble with that. And you're right. God used a recording that came to you long after the concert was done.
Right. And for 10 years. So even, and for this particular evangelist, it was apparently a throwaway show. I don't know. It was a small show in a small church because it was a bootleg tape. It wasn't even one of his package tapes. So, but that's what God used. So.
Proof, though. It's proof that, we can get through things being scared of people or whatever it is that we're going through right now. We can get past that and we can know who's in charge.
Right.
And we can keep going. That's kind of, I guess, been our theme so far this conference is we keep showing up and we keep going, even though that there's been all these difficulties. Right. And I do want to point out that you tickle me so much, because even when you're telling me a story about something that's hard, we're all giggling, and it's like, wait, we're not supposed to be giggling, but we can't help it. You make us giggle even. What'd you say, Miss Connie?
I said, it's absolutely right. I don't know her story, and it's so nice to meet you. But yeah, I'm sitting here giggling, and I'm like, why am I giggling? This is not. But it is.
It's nice to be able to hear too, just the, I guess, the real world side of you, because so often, when you see somebody on stage, you don't really get just that personal conversation. So I'm really grateful you're here.
Well, thank you. And I'm happy to see you guys too, because that is the one part I do miss about my ministry and or about ministry is the eyeballs. Because yeah. Oh, I love it. Well, no, but Christy, you get it too. We were up leading worship with your, when you come down off the stage and you connect, we connect. And I miss that. I really do miss that. I miss being able to look people in the eye and talking to them and listening to their stories and sharing, praying with them or hearing, just their stories. And we're gonna find a way. I mean, we'll get back to that. I know we will.
Absolutely.
It's a it's a hard time whenever you're such a people person or you're in a community of people that you're used to connecting to, and then all of a sudden you're not able to connect. And I'm a super hugger. Like, I spent years and years being the greeter at my church. They thought it was because I was helping the church, but really it's because I'm obsessed with people. And so I would love on everybody when they would come in.
Oh yeah.
And going from that to, being isolated, that's a pretty drastic turn. We do lots of events, and I mean, we can't right now. That's just something we've had to, like, not do some things that we had planned. And I do think that loving on somebody, and like you said, eyeballs, but I think for me, I love just squeezing somebody and, letting them know that we miss them, if we haven't seen them. And I don't know, there is something about that.
Right. No, there is.
Do you have any, like, tips or advice for someone who is isolated right now and how they can hold on? Because I think that's part of the hope that we need to spread too, is that, this is not forever. This is not going to be a forever thing. And I don't want anyone to give up too soon. You know what I mean? I don't want them to be hopeless in a situation that it looks bleak sometimes, and it does.
Mhm.
But what advice would you give them to be able to connect to someone right now during this time?
Well, it's advice that's been given to me because I did have a hard time in the beginning. One of the things definitely is use your phone. I'm not going to say social media necessarily, but use your phone to reach out and talk to people. If you've got an iPhone, FaceTime. I have an Android, so we don't FaceTime. I Zoom. And just make that commitment. One of the things I do is my Bible study group. We're trying to meet outside, and then we couldn't because one of the ladies got COVID, so we stopped doing that. We text each other. We have a texting chain, so we're connected that way. But pick up the phone and call somebody at least once a day. Try and, somebody on your contact list or somebody you haven't talked to in a while, so that you've got that, at least the voice connection. One thing I do like to do is I look for beauty. So might not connect with other people, but I'm at least connecting with God or with nature. There's all kinds of parks in Tulsa and Broken Arrow. Go for walks. Walk your dog. Walk through the neighborhood. We're all home. My husband's been working from home since March. A lot of my neighbors are. And we can at least see each other that way. We can go and, as we're walking the neighborhood, people are outside and you can stop and talk, in social distance. Now, one of the things I did do is my dad lived alone. And so I was over there a lot. And we're moving him now finally into assisted living in a safe environment. I call it the old nunnery. And, but he's going to have people. I mean, that was the hardest part for him, is he's 82 and he couldn't go to church anymore because of COVID. And his church and his doctor were like, no, you can't do this. So that's kind of what drove putting him into assisted living, because he was tired of my face.
It's not possible. It's not possible.
I think it's the only mug he's seen for 8 months. And so he's like, enough already, because this face is bossy. This face is because, well, have you taken your medicine? Did you eat right? Here, drink a shake, do something. But for him, I had to place him somewhere where he could connect. But for the rest of us, yeah, it's definitely take walks to your neighborhood, talk to your neighbors, make phone calls, intentionally look for beautiful things. The fresh air does the mind and body good anyway. So that's kind of my thing. And don't be afraid of technology. I've got friends who are afraid of Zoom or any of the online platforms, and they won't use it. And I'm like, don't be afraid of it. We need it,
It doesn't feel the same, but it feels better than nothing.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think thank God for technology, really. If we didn't have technology right now, we wouldn't be able to talk. I mean, just think about, the blessing that it's brought us, even though it's frustrating
Uh-huh.
as we'll get out, but if we didn't have it, how isolating would have this all been?
Right.
Yeah.
I would have been stuck in my own head, which is a bad neighborhood. I shouldn't be there alone. I mean, I need other people. So yeah, even with the frustrations and the glitches, it's worth it. It is better than nothing. You guys are right.
Well, we have definitely had some glitches. We're having another one as well. I keep looking away, and I apologize. I keep trying to we get one thing solved and something else happens, and it's like, okay, well, we're gonna get this. We're gonna keep going. We're still gonna keep going.
Yeah.
So, Dina,
My goodness.
I'm so
Well,
glad that you didn't just accept that rejection in the church was, a
Right.
permanent state or something that everybody would do. I don't know whether it was you or your husband that got you to the church where the pastor actually cared. Gosh, I just can't even imagine. When I was a kid, I rode the church bus because nobody in my family went to church.
Oh, nice.
There are places that will accept you, and I'm so glad that you found that.
Yeah, thank you. And actually, I did for 6th grade get to ride the church bus for one of the Baptist churches. And
Go Baptists.
yeah, go Baptists.
And charismatics and Pentecostals. All
That's
those
right.
people.
That's right. So, but yeah, for 1 year I did get to ride the church bus, and I thought it was really awesome. When I got older, I realized it's because they thought I was at risk, but that's okay.
You were.
I
You
was.
were at risk of having to walk.
I was. So I loved the outreach that they did. It's just the ones that I could walk to were, they were afraid to have an unsupervised child.
Yeah.
but how amazing is it though? Because, and I want to point this out, because even with all of that, the bits of them pushing away because they didn't know what to do with you,
Uh-huh.
all of that turned into what a sweet heart you have to reach out to other people now because you get it.
Yeah. Thank you. And that's exactly what God did with that, is he'll restore all the years of the locust ate. I mean, and it says in Romans, not everything that happens to us is good, whether it's the result of my own choices or the result of someone else's choices. However, God will pull good out of things that happen. And I rest on that. I hang on that.
One of my, I'm sorry, Christy.
No, go ahead.
One of my things I have said since we started Hope to Hope years ago was that we have things inflicted on us, and we have inflicted things on ourselves. Either way, we need hope. Like it doesn't even matter which it was. We need hope either way.
Right.
So thank you so much for being with us tonight. I cannot thank you enough.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was really sweet. And I love what you're doing. I love this.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We are trying our best to spread hope, because as we were just talking about, we need it. And this started long before what's gone on this year, because we need hope all the time. And, as a reminder, the reason that it's Hope to Hope, because some people have been kind of confused by that, is we need hope in this situation and we get through that situation. But you know what? There's something else we need hope for next. So it's a continuous, we need hope to hope to hope to hope. And so,
exactly.
But thank you for sharing, and thank you for being real with us, because that is another thing that people have a hard time, being open about things. And I appreciate you sharing with us tonight.
Thank you.
It was so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I think I need to come to Tulsa.
Yes.
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 Me too.
Oh, yeah.
So, well, we love you, and we will see you soon, I hope.
Oh yes, definitely. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. So, ladies, it is time for our next session. Let me click our cute little timer, and then we will get to the the little firecracker in the green room.
All right.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in the palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings.
Welcome back to the Hope to Hope Conference 2020. I am here with my beautiful co-hosts, Christy Bridges and Connie Myers, and we have someone absolutely amazing waiting in the green room. Have I said that before?
No, I think every time.
I can't help it. We have the most incredible people here with us. And so I am going to allow her in, and then I'm going to talk about her while she has to listen. I feel like I am super privileged. I will just say that because I got to spend just a few days ago, actually, I got to spend a whole day. I don't really know what to call it because it was like a VIP day with her and stuff, but it was so much more than that. So much more than that. Kate Dramus. Welcome, Kate Dramus.
I'm so excited to be here.
She is an amazing copy girl. And I don't mean she can make copies. I mean, she can tell you how to say things in a way that it's crazy the clarity she can bring to your business, really into your life, because you understand your real mission and your alignment of what your business is, here to do. It's not just about selling stuff. And so I am impressed with the way, and I have to confess, okay, I have to make a confession. I did not get to see your training that Tiffany had you do earlier this year. Mm-hmm. And I found it today. Of all days, you're coming on Hope to Hope tonight. And I find it, so I had to stop and listen to it because I had to know what you had to say then too. And so just saying. But Kate does copy and messaging, and I don't really know if I'm using the right words, but she does this for the big boys, we'll say, the big boys online. And she makes them look really good. And just so you all know, if you notice we start looking a lot better and we're saying things a lot clearer, you can just give Kate credit because she did that. So anyway, I'll quit embarrassing you, but thank you for all that you're doing for us behind the scenes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, it's such an honor.
You have quite a story, your own self. You have, and I do want to talk more about your business at the end because there's people out there that desperately need you to come into their life.
I am happy to talk all business whenever, but yes, definitely.
Well, you are like, okay, I'm just going to ask you the same question I've asked everybody. Okay. And that is, what part were you broken open and what was the outcome? Because we all have a story to tell and we all have a story to share because people look at us where we are now and think we would never understand what they were going through because we've got our stuff together. They don't know that that's not true of anyone. But, we go back and we tell the messy stories. So what story would you like to share tonight for the Hope to Hope listeners to gain hope?
Oh, I love this question so much. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I've been so excited all day. I feel like there have been so many broken open moments in life. I think it's kind of a collection of broken open moments. But I would say probably my biggest one was back in 2018. So I had actually just left my corporate job. I had decided to go all in on my business. I was going to do the whole entrepreneur thing. I was super, super, super excited. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Absolutely none. And it was around, it must have been like April and May. I was in a 5-year relationship that was crumbling. I mean, completely crumbling. And it actually ended in an incident of physical abuse. My ex actually strangled me. And it was one of the worst moments of my life. Just absolute worst moments of my life. And it wasn't just the incident. It was the unraveling of looking back and looking at how toxic that situation had been for so long. And I suddenly found myself with a mortgage and 3 dogs and a cat and a business and my life in shambles, going, what the heck do I do with this? How do I get out of bed and serve a client when I'm turning around like, what? Like, what just happened to my life? It was definitely one of those, what I would call rock bottom moments. And I remember very clearly sitting in bed one morning and being like, what am I doing? Like, what am I just can't even motivate myself to get out of bed. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to do any work. And I had a client, and she was my first ever coaching client who had signed on with me. And I had a meeting with her that day. And I remembered when she had signed on with me weeks before, she had told me that she felt like no one cared about her vision. And she felt like she had so much to say and so much to share with the world. But what if no one wanted to listen? What if no one cared? What if she was being selfish for having these big dreams? What if her message didn't resonate with people? And I got out of bed for her that day because I remember thinking, there's no way in HE double hockey sticks that I'm going to allow another woman to feel silenced after I had just gone through something that had literally silenced me. And it became actually my mission to help other entrepreneurs find their voice, share their voice, and own their voice online. And I would have never been able to step fully into my power had I not gone through that experience.
Wow. I don't even know what to say, really, because that is very telling of why you're so passionate. Because you are very, very passionate about what you do. Can you go back to like you said, it was 5 years. Can you go back today and look at and recognize all the signs that led up to that moment? Because that's usually never the first thing that ever happens.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember when it happened, this like deep internal voice that I don't know that I've ever heard before in my brain going, oh, I knew this was going to happen. Like, that was the first mental reaction. I mean, probably the second. The first was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And then the second was, oh, I knew this was going to happen. So yeah, I definitely, it's, and that I think made the situation very difficult, because it wasn't just coming to terms with the loss. It was the processing with myself. And I had to go through a lot of self-forgiveness for, not being able to see in the moment, or seeing and just turning my eyes off to it and my brain off to it, what was happening.
I think that is a good point of what you're saying, though, that you turn off your intuition and you turn off those things because it can't be for real. Like, I my first marriage was violent. And today would never, like, never tolerate what I thought was normal back then.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just how it was, and I just hadn't figured that out yet.
Right.
I hadn't figured out how to, like, appease that situation. And so one of the things that is very, I guess it's very hopeful. I hate to use that word in this context, but it's something that really does spread hope, is that you can get out of that situation.
Mm-hmm.
You can do something different, and you're going to have a sweet life afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very messy.
Yes. Yes.
It is.
And you can learn to trust yourself again. I think you said something about forgiving yourself, and there's a distrust of your own decision making. I think that happens, and you can learn to build that trust again, stronger, right? We don't know what we don't know until suddenly we're in that situation.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that it's like it's a rebuilding of trust with yourself. It's a re-falling in love with yourself. It's an unlearning of all of the things that you thought you knew, but you don't know and probably should let go of. Absolutely. And it's messy. I mean, to your point, Kim, it was messy.
Well, messy though. Messy can actually be beautiful. Like, I don't want to leave the audience in this place but I don't want to, like, smooth over it either, because it wasn't like you can, or at least not for me. I shouldn't say for you. I should say for my own self, and then you tell me yours. But it took me a long time. It took me a long time to recognize the things that had been going on for 13 years. It took me a long time to recognize that some of that came from insecurities within me, that I didn't trust me as much as I trusted what he was saying to me. And what he was saying to me was a lie. Like, and why was I doing that? Why was I allowing someone else to speak into my life that really didn't have a right to treat me that way? Like, it didn't matter that we were married. He did not have the right to treat me that way.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
what if someone is in that situation that's listening, what would you say? Or even better yet, what would you say to Kate? What would you say to Kate way back in the beginning?
Man, that is so difficult, because I think about this often, where I'm like, okay, if I could go back, like, obviously my first instinct would be like, girl, leave. Let's go. But I think God puts us in I think God allows us to see so many lessons in situations. Yes. So I think I would tell myself, that I'm loved, and that I'm worthy, and that this is not all there is, and that I'm enough. I'm enough just as I am.
I think that's one of the hardest things, for whether you are in an abusive relationship or you have such low self-esteem, is not understanding that we need to love ourselves, and God loves us, and that's where we need to start. So I think it's really important that we really encourage anybody we see or talk to, that we may not know they're in an abusive relationship, but you can kind of tell when somebody doesn't have a lot of self-love, and being able to approach them and say, hey, you're beautiful, or, let's have a conversation, or whatever it is, to help build up the fact that people are loved, because I think that's so important, Kate.
I agree. And it's honestly, it's so easy to do for other people. It's one of my favorite things to do. Like, I always joke with my friends, and they kind of joke it back to me that, like, they call it forced friendship. And I'm just like, because I just latch on to people. I love very easily. And I think that it's really easy to pump up other people, and to pay attention, and to look at where does someone maybe need a little extra, love.
I'm so grateful for friends who latch on to people, because I am so, like task focused and planner, whatever. And in my life, I have these beautiful, beautiful people who show up and have conversations in my driveway until 2 a.m. Like these people that won't go away, at ordinary hours. And it's without those people, I would be very, very lonely and probably stuck in a lot of feeling not enough, and at some point, it's one thing to tell somebody you're worth it, you're worth loving, and you are enough. But it's another thing, I think, to help them understand what that feels like. We're afraid that if we love ourselves as we are, then we'll be stuck, with the bad habits that we know we have, or the whatever. If we tell ourselves we're enough, we won't try. And that's silly. If you look at a little kid, or if you look at this kitten that keeps crawling around, right? This kitten is excited about life because life is exciting. This kitten does things not because he wants to be a better kitten, but because, right? Because that balloon is a challenge. Can he carry it across the room in his teeth without popping it? Things like that. And when we can make that transition from, not having to live up to ourselves, but just enjoy being who we are, enjoy using our talents. And the fact that you write amazing copy for other people, I love that you do that, because you, by writing for them, show them how amazing they really are. When I think that's what holds a lot of us back in writing our own copy is that we don't really think that we're all that, So that's a gift that you're doing.
I think she's kind of tricky. I will just say for my VIP day, she got me talking, and that's what she wanted to do. Like, she wanted me to tell her about our business. And of course, there's a lot of explaining when you call your business sexy. There are some things you have to, clarify. But it was such an amazing experience because, and now I know more why. Like, you don't want my voice lost. I think that was the thing that I recognize in you tonight. It matters to you that my voice is not lost when you work with me.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, honestly, to me, I can't do what I do if you're not you. I can't do what I do if you're not you. And so I love what I do because I just get to pull the amazingness, or the sexiness, as you would say, out of someone else, and bring that to the surface and bring that to light. And so really, to me, it's less about even me changing the voice or channeling the voice. It's just showing you, I'm really just holding up a mirror and reflecting it back to you over and over and over again, and showing you, no, this is what you stand for. Did you hear what you said? This is what's important to you. This is what lights you up. This is what gets you excited. This is what makes you great. So it's awesome. I just like to consider myself like a professional hype woman. I'm basically just there to make sure you know how awesome you are.
But do you see what you have done? Like, that is a great description of you, because think about that. Now, what are you doing for my friend? Because I have a friend that needs you to do that for them. You want me to introduce you to her?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, her name is Kate Dramus, and she is like an amazing person that needs a hype girl all the time. And so if you let her down, I'm going to come to your house, because
She will be that, by the way.
Come on over.
Because that's the thing that you have to remember when you are talking bad to you. You're talking bad to my friend. Like, you're talking bad to someone who I appreciate and is changing the trajectory of our business because of clarity. And it's, for you were so amazing at it. It may not seem as big a deal to you as it does to other people on the outside, because we get the struggle. We get the struggle of we know what we're trying to say, but we may not be saying that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so here you waltz in and you clean up, our Oklahoma hickness. You you bring clarity to that. But the underlying thing, and this is why I was so blessed to be able to connect with you so much deeper, was the fact that you're my flavor in the fact that you serve deep. You love deep and you serve deep. And I mean, I just know that. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
That's different than doing a job.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't need anybody to do a job for me. Like I rock. I'm just going to be honest. We do a lot of things, and I don't mean that in like a prideful way. It's just, we have a great team. We have like amazing things we do. And so I don't need to just hire somebody because they, I'm just hiring people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the part that makes you so sexy, is the fact that you came in with that big old heart of yours and you served deep. You did. And what seems simple to you is not simple to us. Just saying.
I have heard that.
I just want to make sure you know that, because like I'm going to keep telling you that for years to come, I'm sure of it.
I have to tell you. So I've written books, I've written songs, but I wrote an email, I think 6 times before Kim approved it. There are some things that just don't come naturally to everybody.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, writing content. Writing content is just it's not my thing either. So that's a special talent.
I think it took me 6 hours to write 40 words on my website.
Well, and I feel like it's more difficult, right? The closer it gets to you.
Yes.
It can be. I mean, there are times that I'm writing my own stuff. I have the most wonderful in-house copywriter now on our team to help me.
Nice.
Because I wasn't writing anything for me. I was just writing all of our client stuff. And finally, my business manager was like, "You do know we need content, right?" And I was like, "Okay, sure." And I realized that, thank goodness, because she can crank out an email for our list like that. And sometimes I can do it immediately. And sometimes I'm sitting here spinning in circles on my chair. Like, what do I even say? So yeah, I do think it becomes more challenging the closer you get to it. But I've actually been writing forever. I started writing fiction as a kid. So I've always wanted to be a writer.
Wow.
Are you doing NaNoWriMo?
It's been fun.
Nice.
Did you ask her a question, Christy?
Oh, I wondered if you've ever done NaNoWriMo.
No, what is that?
It's the month of November. I can't remember, National Novel Writing Month. So it's the month of November. People are all over the world. They have like a little website and Facebook group and all this kind of stuff where people try to write 50,000 words in the month of November.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I should be doing this immediately. I'm working on a book that I'm trying to get published, and I feel like this is exactly what I need to be doing.
It is such a neat community. I've never, working full time and doing my own stuff on the side, I have not written a novel during the month of November, but I joined the groups just because the conversations are so interesting, and people will post like, why would somebody do this? They're looking for answer for their character, and I'm like, oh well, maybe this happened. It's just so fun awesome. Sharing creative ideas with people.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's why we're in your life. You need to get that book published.
Yeah. Actually, I went up to the mountains the week of Halloween with 2 of my girlfriends and that was our plan. We were going to shut ourselves in the cabin and just work on a novel. I was working on a novel. A friend of mine was working on her business book, and we did it. It was awesome. I did not finish it, but I got like the whole flow down and so much written. But I actually I went up there with one novel and left with a different one. Okay. I guess this is how this works.
I love friends that can work together. That is seriously just one of my things that make me feel like I must be weird, but then I keep meeting people like you and Kim and Connie. I love that.
We're all weird in a great way. So, Kate, before we run out of time, I do want you to give your description because I can tell it in my words, but I would like for you to tell them so that it makes more sense. What is it that you do for your business? Like, what is it that you do that you can help other businesses with?
I love that question. I can talk about this all day. So essentially what I do is I help other business owners really nail down their messaging and specifically turn that into written words that get people to take action. So whether that's growing your community, engaging your community, selling, I help you figure out what to say to let people know how awesome you are and how awesome it is to be in your community and in your presence. I think that a lot of people think that copywriting is just like, let me write a sales page or, oh, I have to write a blog post. But to me, the heart of copywriting is actually messaging. I've seen some really horribly written things that convert very, very well because the message is on point. So what I really help entrepreneurs do is get to the heart of their message.
That is not horribly written.
It's not horribly written. It's not horribly written.
You're so funny.
Sorry. And I have to say I have to clean that up because the team did so much of this that it's not horribly written. It's just I do know that we are a work in progress because we were going for authentic and not perfect. And when you talk about that, when you're talking about what you do for businesses, like helping them get the more perfect anyway, but staying authentic, that to me is so sexy.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's what I think is it's so funny. I found myself recently really, I'm not a formula person. Like I don't really like the whole like formula structure of writing and messaging because I find that lately I've been having the same conversations with clients over and over and over again, which starts with like, how do I say, this is what I really want to say. How do I say it? And I'm like, you just say it. Like, just like that. You just told me what you want to say. And I think that's what happens so often is we focus so much on being perfect and presenting this polished, oh, I can't have any typos in my emails and my sales page has to be just so. And we forget that at the heart of what we're doing is connecting with people. We're connecting and we're serving. And so really what I do is I help you remove all of the fog and the filters that you've learned to put on yourself so that you can just show up and communicate with your audience.
Well, I will confess, I had a really good time with you that day and I had a really good time getting all that, done. But when you sent it to me, I will confess, I cried because it was so to the point. It was almost like looking at my heart on the paper. And I'm not going to cry. I'm not.
Run your mascara, honey.
That's right. I can't mess up my mascara. It's all about the mascara. But I think that was such a gift that you gave by just handing me back that you heard what I was trying to do and trying to say, and then you handed it back to me in such a precious package. And I know Google Drive is probably not what anybody would consider like a precious package, but
but it worked.
But it worked. And so I feel like that is something that, anyone who has a business that's doing absolutely anything, that's who should call you. Do I think you should work with all of them? Absolutely not.
I've got a novel to write. I can't.
That's right. And what day will the novel be done so I can write it on my calendar so I can check in?
That's a great question. I'm not sure, but I did just book a session with actually a client of mine who's a literary agent who's going to help me flesh it all out and get it ready to send off. So I will keep you in the loop. Hopefully 2021. Let's set that as a goal.
Okay, well, if not by December 31st, 2021, I'll be probably knocking on your door.
Okay, excellent. Please do. Please do. Hold me accountable.
We're here. Miss Connie tells stories on me all the time about me showing up and well, Connie and Christy both are some of my masterminders.
Oh, awesome.
And the messaging that Kate was helping me with so that I would say the right things to explain it, because I don't have a good handle on the basically the list form of what that looks like. I just know what we do. So she did a great job of helping me get that clear, like the messaging clear. But Kate, thank you so much. How can people get in contact with you?
Honestly, the easiest way to get in touch with me is on Instagram. I'm everywhere at Kate Dramis, but Instagram is kind of my hub, much to my team's despair. I'm always on there just like chatting with people in the DM. So please feel free to reach out to me. I am an extrovert caught in quarantine. Please come talk to me. I'd love to meet you.
I know. I was like, when she got done the other day, I was like, man, I wish I could be there to just squeeze you. And she was like, I wish you would. Well, thank you for, of course, bringing joy and hope to this. But thank you for sharing the story behind the story. Mm-hmm. Because it really is, what happened wasn't sexy, but what you did with it is very sexy.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, thank you. And just know that you're a permanent fixture in our lives now. Just saying.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Glad to finally meet you.
You're so
yes,
great.
Really a pleasure. Really a pleasure. Yes.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Kate. So, we have our next guest in the green room, and I just keep saying this because I get so excited about it. And so we're going to go to the timer, and we'll be back.
Okay.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in my palm. You are a statement that explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings.
Hello, we are back. Welcome to Hope Conference 2020. I sound like a broken record, but that's okay because we're moving on. We have had technical difficulties, but we are still going forward. And I am thrilled, absolutely thrilled to introduce the next guest. I don't think she's a guest. I think she's just a permanent in my life and a permanent on Hope to Hope because she is literally Mrs. Amazing. Her husband is Mr. Amazing, and she is actually literally Mrs. Amazing. But I'm gonna put her on so she can at least defend herself as I tell stories on her. Welcome to Hope, Christy Garcia.
Like someone watching. I can hear what you're saying.
It is so good to see you.
So nice to see you.
Well, Christy is my she is my girl. I don't know how else to say it. We met I don't even know how long ago. We met at an event, and the second that we met, we were taking selfies together and because we both were sparkly, glittery, girly girls, and we just liked each other right from the very minute we met. So I think that that's a really important part of the story. But Christy has pivoted during this craziness this year for sure. She's got a lot of feathers in her cap, and I'm going to say, and I don't know what I'm not supposed to say, so I guess I'll just say it, and then if I get in trouble, I'll have to like apologize. I'm going to ask for forgiveness, okay, instead of permission. That's our MO. Christy has done so many things that the list is really long. And, you know, I think it is an amazing thing. She was an amazing part of, well, I don't even want to tell that part. She was in the corporate world, and she did some pretty amazing things that, you know, people are still taking advantage of because she did that. Let's just leave it at that. Is that good, Christy? And then she has taught many businesses how to brand. Like, that was another thing that she has done that she's really, really good at. And then she has been, you know, my friend, which is like, I think that's a high maintenance job. She co-hosted the Atlanta's Besties with me.
It was so good. We were talking about it earlier tonight.
Yes, with Elena. But now she is doing something that she is still changing lives, and she's just doing it in another way. She has done so many things, and I'm looking for a picture in the new magazine, by the way. I'm looking for a picture because it really does describe what I'm trying to say, but it's a picture that describes it instead of me rattling. It's this one right here. Can you see that picture right there?
Love that picture.
I love that picture too, because that was at the Biz Besties, and I chose to put the tag underneath it that changing lives, because Chrissy has been doing that very thing. She is the, not a, but the curvy trainer, and she's helping people who are curvy like us to actually get up and move and to find out they can do some things instead of being too afraid or too afraid of judgment. That's really a big one. And so I'm probably botching this story terribly because I know too many details. That's really the problem. But Chrissy is amazing because she loves people. She loves the people that she works with and that she helps. And so, Chrissy, I'm going to let you imagine that. I'm going to let you tell the part where you were broken open in this area and the outcome of it, why you're even doing what you're doing. Because, you know, looking at you from the outside, you've got everything together. You're the perfect wife, the perfect mom. You know, you've got kids in dance that are, well, it's true though. Ask anybody. You've got kids in like dance that you have raised them doing what they love to do, that are now doing it for, I don't guess I can say the words, but they're doing it for somebody that you'd recognize that has like ears. And lots of other places. And just the fact that you would slow down and do something so generous, it just tells on you. It tells like why I love you so much.
You are too kind, let me tell you. I like literally felt like I'm like backed into a corner and all the goodness is coming at me.
Okay, but you're a hot mess still. We'll say that.
100% hot mess runs through all this blood. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that introduction. That was quite a big bang. But yes, so I am the curvy trainer, and you know, I have been through, I would say since I was probably 12, this has been my journey with whether it be body image and it be, you know, getting active, eating the right foods, all the things that encounter with, you know, your health and your fitness. But one thing that is consistent is that I always find my way back to fitness. And it's because as soon as I start getting active, all areas of my life change. Every single one. Relationships with myself and everyone around me. My career, everything, it just really changes. And it wasn't ever more evident than in pandemic when it first started and we got quarantined and I was, I was so active and I was doing my certifications and everything, and then I hit. And again, I went into that slump of not moving, eating all the foods, baking all the things. It was so many silver linings. Like, has anyone really baked that much? I mean, I definitely haven't in the last 10 years. And my kids were delighted. And as a family, we also gained a lot of pounds. And you know what? We're like, well, we felt like that was worth it. But we did started feeling grumpy. We started feeling tired. We were kind of getting on each other's nerves. I don't remember the last time all 4 people lived in this household, all the things. And so started getting active. We kind of made a family, I would say, challenge. So we were all working out together. We were all doing the things. And again, everything started changing. Everything's feeling good. And I had already started my fitness journey. It definitely changed through this whole last 8 months. And when things started opening up and I was allowed to teach group fitness or personal training sessions, I went for it. Literally just went for it. And why? Because I want everyone to feel so good. I want everyone to feel what I feel when I get active, whether it's a 10-minute active or it's a 30-minute active. And the thing is about getting active is it's very intimidating, very intimidating. So that is sort of my intro that I went kind of blah all over because I'm a hot mess. And yeah.
You're so cute. But here's the thing that I appreciate, though, and we've been out there. You and I both have been out there with the struggle, because the struggle is real.
Yeah.
With, there's experts telling us in every direction what to eat, what not to eat, what's the thing that's the healthy thing, and then this one tells you that's not the thing. And you should work out this part of your body, or you should never do this. And it's so confusing to the point that I didn't need very many excuses to sit still. Like, as far as, it's like, it's so much easier to just ignore all of that and not do anything. But the problem with that is you don't feel good. Like, you don't feel good if you don't have some kind of activity in your life. And I think not only for this year, but I think as both of our countries, because Christy's in Canada and obviously we're in the U.S., but I think it's a really bad trend that we just stop doing life. Like, we go to work or we do our business and we stop taking care of our own selves, which is really where I was at. I got to a bad place, and had it not been for things happening with my mom that opened my eyes, that's really the truth of the matter. I'm looking at my mom and thinking, oh my goodness, this is going to be me if I don't do something different. And so when you have that deep feeling of hurt or shame, or those are the things that we do get, you and I both get, and we've talked about it on lives before. But the thing that makes me so proud of what you've done is you didn't stay there. Like, that's a big deal. It's a big deal that you didn't stay on the couch.
Yeah. And it's hard to get off the couch. It's hard to get that, motivation isn't just to be found. It's literally getting your feet on the ground and getting yourself up and getting yourself dressed. And maybe you won't make that workout, but I'm going to tell you, if you put on the pants and the shirt, sometimes even just that's the workout, because you got yourself ready. You got yourself off the couch, you got yourself ready, and maybe you sit and watch the workout video. Maybe you sit and I have sat in the gym parking lot for 45 minutes, and I'm not proud to say this, but it ended up with me eating the snacks out of the glove compartment. There was no workout, but at least I got myself halfway there, right? I mean, that's still a bonus. So, it's about getting yourself off that couch, and whether it's a walk around the block, whether it's, doing a full workout, and you are able, no matter what size, no matter where you're at mentally, you can do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 50. It doesn't have to be this 2-hour workout or an hour workout. My goodness. Aim for 5 minutes of constant movement. You will feel so much better.
Take more dance breaks.
Yeah.
Yes. I love dance breaks. But, it's funny that you said that about sitting in the car outside the gym. I did that once, and I love exercise. I do, but my journey has been up and down and up and down. And the point is to keep it going up again, and, but that's a very disheartening feeling when you're in the car and you're so close, and then you just can't motivate yourself to do it. But I've learned that any workout, if I just can last that first 5 minutes, then, I'll get past the, I don't want to do this, I have so much else to do, and into the, this is really cool. I want to do this forever.
Bottle the feeling.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So the curvy trainer, I'm sorry, I'm not taking over for Kim here, but I'm really curious about this curvy trainer thing, because there is, to me, that just sounds luscious. It just does, because, we hate our curves for the first however long of our lives until we realize they're just very huggable. But they shouldn't stop us from moving, because our heart is trying to get blood to all those curves. So what do you do? What kind of workouts do you do?
Yeah, so all of my workouts are normally full body workouts, and they're done with either your body weight, they're done with, if you want to use soup cans or dumbbells. I do a band class on Sundays, which is focusing on exercise bands, strength and flexibility. So they're all sort of different themes, but they're definitely all made for every single, right from beginner, and you can add resistance and things like that to make it more challenging. They're quite short in length. They're 30 minutes at the longest length. And so I'm sort of finding my way with the Zoom. So I've taught in person up until this week. So this week's been a little bit of a, pivot again. But that being said, I am I'm going to toot my own horn. One of the things I do well is pivot. So, everything's up and running. And so I'm teaching Zoom, and sometimes I feel like maybe I'm freezing the screen. I'm going to talk with my hands all the time. And now I'm doing workout tasks. But it's working out. So I'm just kind of learning how to teach on the Zoom, and it's really a lot of fun, and there's lots of variety.
My first impression of you at the Biz Besties weekend, my lasting impression was there was something I was talking about that I wanted, and you were like, well, then you just need to go make that money. And you are really, the pivot thing is just natural to you. You are such an entrepreneurial queen that it's neat to see you and Kim together, because it's like, wow, entrepreneurial genius. I
believe we're called extra.
It's just neat to see that you found yet another way to express your entrepreneurial genius. That's really fun.
Thank you so much.
I actually think if you go to the Webster Dictionary and you look up pivot, it probably has Christy Garcia all over it.
I love that you do that naturally, but I love that you do it even when you don't know what it's going to look like. You just knew that there was a lot of people that were like us that needed to get up and start moving so that they would feel better. Yep. And so most people would go, yeah, I wish that they would feel better. And, yes, hopefully they'll get up and go do something. Not Christy. Christy's like, okay, well, let's just make that happen.
Love it.
So I do have to tell you, she has done something extremely generous as usual. She has actually created a link for Hope to Hope Conference and the team. She's invited the team also to come and work out with her for the next week so that everybody gets to start moving. I know. And I will confess, and we know I'm not the late night girl. So if you got a late night class, I won't be there. But I will be there in the morning. I made the commitment that I will be there at her first class in the morning. And she was so excited. It just tickles me because she's been trying to get me to do something with her for a while. And so I am showing up in the morning. So if anybody is listening to this, I am showing up in the morning. And if I don't show up, you'll hear me hollering because she'll be kicking my booty. So hopefully the team is able to put that in the comments. I don't know how things are going on the outside world. We're kind of in a little sheltered spot on the backside of like StreamYard tonight, but the outside world was having technical issues. If they're not having technical issues, that link will be in the comments. If there is a problem with it, everybody that comes to the Zoom party will get the link and we'll show up in the morning.
We're just they have already posted it on your page, Kim, on the Facebook page.
What did you say, Christy?
I said I think they've already posted it on the Facebook page. So that is so super cool. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So who's going to show up with me, Christy and Connie?
What time is it in the morning?
What time are we showing up?
Central Time, 6:15 Mountain Time.
Oh, 8:15 Central Time, 6:15 Mountain.
At 7:15 Central Time, and 15 a.m. Mountain.
So it'd be 5:15.
Yeah, it'll be 5:15.
Oh, Vegas? Yes.
There's also a 9 o'clock, which would be 8 o'clock for her.
Yes, 8. I'm not good with time. So
How about I look at the link and then tell you if I'll be there? But I probably
What time zone are
will.
you in? What time zone are you in, Christine?
I'm in Mountain Time.
Okay, so what time Mountain Time?
6:15 and 9 a.m.
Awesome.
Okay.
Oh, we like to move it.
Oh my goodness. I want to show the video she sends me. This is the power of having amazing friends. Like, she's telling me not to tell, but I'm going to tell anyway. This is the power of having absolutely amazing sauce in your life. And amazing, heavy on the amazing. She sends me videos because I love all these crazy songs. And there's one song that was it Madagascar, I think is the movie that came from that, and this Moto is the little hippo that is like sashaying up to can't even remember her name. Anyway, he sings that I like them big, I like them I like them chunky. Christy, to wake me, I think it was to wake me up one morning, she sends me the video where she's dancing to that song, like
Love it.
And so I just wanted you to know I'm pretty privileged. I have my own personal dance trainer that
It would be so embarrassed to hear you say that. They're
so
notified that I'm on TikTok. Let's just put it that way.
I think that's hysterical. No, you're a big Instagrammer too. Kate was saying she's always on Instagram. Bless my heart. I'm just going to confess. Instagram spanks me, and if somebody gets on Instagram and they think it's awesome, it's not me. It's one of the team, because I don't know what the problem is. I cannot figure it out. I haven't slowed down to figure it out. Christy's been after me for, 3 or 4 years?
Yes.
So I'm with you, Kim. I don't get it either. I'm just like, yeah, if people say you need to be on Instagram, I'm like, I don't understand it.
I went to go look at the Curvy Trainer on Instagram, and I don't even know where she is. Like, I'm looking around and finding all this stuff that has nothing to do with her, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting off because I don't even know what this is. and so if she will tag me, that's what the rule is. Everybody should know this on the planet. If you tag me, I'll see it because it comes to me like automatically. If you don't tag me, I'll probably never see it. Anyway, sorry, I digress. So tell us your goal for the Curvy Trainer, because here's the thing. We can laugh and have a good time because we always do. But the truth is you're changing lives. And I don't want to lose that part of this for the recording especially, because you are changing people's lives by helping them. Well, you tell that part. You tell what some of the things that have happened in class.
Well, it's really, for me, my biggest goal is community. I want to build a community that people feel safe, not judged, can come in, be themselves, not worry about the fact that they're going to get up and they're going to maybe not feel as comfortable. I want them to feel safe. That is my biggest goal. And, so I started this in July, and I've had quite a large group of girls come all the way to now with me, and now they're in the Zoom classes, and they have really built a community. I watch them chat outside of class. They're messaging each other. They're supportive to one another. So that's really my biggest goal. And it's, when I watch it happen, it just is like fills my whole cup. I get so excited. So that is happening already. And for now I want to move it online. I want, the same community to feel to continue as we do Zoom classes and, whatever else that leads to, because we know that things are going to change a little bit. It might be, they have a community on Facebook now. I'm not sure. Stay tuned. That's what I have to say, because that's what I do. Stay tuned. But right now it's about community and just making everyone feel safe and to empower them. I want everyone to know that they can move their bodies. And you know what? Whether you need to sit in a chair and do the workout the first time, you stand up, maybe you're doing half and half, but there's all kinds of options. It doesn't mean you have to do this full on, I'm getting the step out, we're doing step aerobics. No, we just need to move our bodies, and there's modifications for everything. So that was long-winded. Coming back, goal was community. But really that's what I'm providing these ladies, both online, in person when it's available. And that's it.
But how sexy is that? How sexy is that to be with other curvy girls? And curvy is not a size. I think that's another thing that's really important to point out. Curvy's not, you don't have to be plus size to be curvy, and you don't have to be a size 0 and you're not curvy. It's just a state of mind. We are curvy, and we need to work out no matter what level we're on.
Yes.
And I think it's really important to get started. And I've been called out. Imagine that. The princess got called out. But I will be there in the morning in all my glory. I might wear a crown. Who knows?
I think it sounds like fun. I'm looking forward to it.
So, Christy, are you in? Is that what you're saying, Christy Bridges?
I'll do it. If you'll be there, I'll be there. Hey. I can always take a nap. I'm off tomorrow.
You have a plan.
I love it.
I'm going to be on another Zoom where I'm presenting. Do you have others during the day? Do you do others during the day?
So when you go to that link that everybody, whether you're watching this, you're on the team, everybody involved with Hope to Hope, go to that link. It'll give you a calendar, and it will have little circles on all the days the classes are offered. And I'm offering, I think, 11 classes between now and next Friday. So lots of times available. So check the schedule. Definitely sign up for as many as you want. I want to see you as many times as I can.
Cool. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. What a great pivot.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I love
Absolutely.
I love these curvy women, and yeah, I just am in so much glory right now.
And can I give a bonus if they show up in the morning for the class I'm in?
Yes.
Awesome. Now you heard her say yes before I tell her what it is, but she did say yes. I'll show everybody my special video she sent me.
I know it will embarrass me, but fair enough. I said yes without asking.
I think that's a good bonus.
I think it's a pretty good bonus. I'm gonna eat that one.
She's gonna have technical difficulties.
If there's technical difficulties, I'll just go ahead and post it on Facebook. Well, guys, I hate to tell you, I can't even believe it's at the end of Hope to Hope for session 2. We have completed a whole second day already. I hate the halfway mark because then it's like, oh man, we want to go back to the start of it. If you're listening and you don't have your Zoom link yet for the after party tonight, you definitely want to go get that because I'm telling you, we've got some fun peeps in the house tonight, and we will have some more in that Zoom party. So if you don't have your link, go to the website, get your link. If you've already got your link, it'll be just a minute because, we've been on live for 3 hours. So you can imagine where we're going to head first, and then we'll be on Zoom. So thank you, Christy Garcia. Thank you, Christy Bridges. Thank you, Connie Myers. Thank you, everyone who spoke tonight. I love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Bye.